I'm on the run eating.
I hear that. So let me make sure that we get the Patreon, actually the link to that
Yeah, we're
pinned to
gonna
the
talk
top
about
while
that.
everybody's coming in the room. Yo,
Yeah,
man,
why my notification be late?
it was kind of a light day when it comes to new music. So,
Mm,
figured that we have
Right,
like
but
some real classic type discussions
yeah, yeah, we're
and
gonna have some
kind of
good
open
discussion.
up the forum too for the people out there so we could really have even more hip hop discussions. Yeah, we got people coming in the room right now. Happy Friday to everybody.
I haven't got
Happy
my
Friday.
notification.
What's that?
I said I haven't gotten my notification. I'll let you know when it comes
Oh
through.
yeah, let me know when the notification comes through. I'm gonna be looking for this link. I should have had this link before, but yes. What were some of your thoughts on the new music that dropped today?
Um, Not a lot. I mean, I wasn't too impressed with the Bob. I haven't gotten all the way through it yet. My early thoughts are similar to yours. Do you remember when he was local down here, like when he was first blowing up,
I
like
do.
with the weed smoking anthem? I forget the name of the song, but
I
it was
do.
super big down here. You remember? You remember what I'm talking
I remember.
about? I think I was telling
You talking about
myself,
I'll be in the sky?
huh?
Are you talking about I'll be in the sky or before that?
It might be even before I be in the sky,
Okay.
but like this is before he had the deal. This is like the record that got him the deal. I mean, local.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes because we're from down here and we've been listening to him for so long and we know the talent that he is, are we looking at it from the perspective of the talent that he is and not the music? Because I hear some good stuff. I think we're both kind of unimpressed because we feel he's more talented than what the output is stating.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair?
No.
So are we listening through it through a jaded ear because we're from down here? Because I think kind of what makes us different than a lot of different people too is that we kind of open ourselves up to be vulnerable to those perspectives. Like we don't stand on too many horses too high around here, you know?
I
So I
think
thought
this,
about
man.
that.
I think that his talent, he kind of has a Nelly thing going on, right? I think
Mhm.
this is what happened where, because if we keep it real and we remember the first time we ever heard Bruno Mars, superstar, was on the
Mhm.
B.O.B. record.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
he had airplanes out there. You know what I'm saying? And he was a crossover artist seamlessly. And I think what tripped him up along the way was backtracking and trying to make the streets of Atlanta accept the music that you were making. And I
Okay,
think that's
so
kind of what ultimately brought Nelly back down too, because Nelly was making records that were just straight up crossover hits. He didn't have to come. He he didn't have to go backwards, man. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to, if you already skipped that point, there's nothing that you're gonna be able to do to make the people on the underground level like you now. You know what I mean?
you can't go back and you can always go back home, but you can't be going back home to get underground type love when you've already crossed over.
They already
You have
see
to
you in a
go.
certain way.
Well, that's what I'm saying. At that, when you get to that stage, what you really have to do is build upon whatever it is that took you there. So let's go to somebody like Raekwon,
Mm-hmm.
because Ray is known for the purple tape. Well, a lot of his affiliation, the things that he's done, has been attached to the color purple. You know what I'm saying? Like the
Mm-hmm.
actual color purple. Because of that, because that's part of what he's known for. And
Yeah.
so there's purple tape stuff, and there's purple this from Ray, and you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's his brand.
Because part of his brand is his most famous tape and one of the best rap albums out ever. I mean, it's the only classic rap album that it actually infamously dubbed something differently than what the actual name of the album is. It's not the name of the album at all, but we call it the Purple Tape. You feel what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
and we said the
He's
purple
taking
tape in
that.
hip hop. Everybody knows what you're talking about.
Right. So he's taking that and run with it. You know what I mean? You got to kind of take and run with what got you to that point. And so you kind of like flip the game back. Even musically, you do so. It's like, so you look at Nas when he makes something like 40 Side. Well, it's like, well, that doesn't sound like Memory Lane, but the talk is the same.
Right.
But he can't do Memory Lane again, like lyrically or beat wise, ask that out of Preem. So you up. You have certain formulas, and you update your formulas with the time. Told you that's the best intro ever because it applies so much.
Listening to the B.O.B. album, I wasn't impressed, but one thing I did hear is I heard moments in there. You know what I'm saying? And I heard
Yes.
the talent that's there, like as a lyricist, and it made me think. I think by song 3, as an MC, I think B.O.B. is the best bar for bar rapper in Atlanta that we never bring up and we never talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wrote that list that went viral or whatever for the top 25 Southern MCs. And not that, I think he is a top 25 Southern MC. But when I was making that list, his name, he didn't even cross my mind. And it's sad because he's very talented as an MC. Now, we give Sahai those type of high marks. But for whatever reason, B.O.B., he just he falls under the radar in that sense, and it's unfair to his talent. And he's so young too. That was one of the other things I wanted to highlight too. And like when "I'll Be in the Sky" came out and it was on the radio in Atlanta on a local level, I heard it and was like, man, who's this guy trying to sound like 3,000? I didn't realize he was like 18, 19 years old though.
Like
You know
fresh
what
out of
I
high
mean?
school.
Yeah. And when you think about how impressive his output was from a quality standpoint, being so young, B.O.B. is very talented, man. Not to mention, somebody mentioned in the chat, he plays instruments and all of those things. He should be just as, on a rap level, on a crossover level, I think that he should still, I ain't saying be as big as Bruno Mars, but let's just keep it real. That's his class. You know what I mean? Like, he's
But let's talk about
proven
that
to that
class.
level where he can make music that hits those formats. I'll put it that way.
Let's talk about that class because I'm glad that you're bringing that up. That kind of makes me think on a level of we not to harp on it, but we had this conversation about Lupe multiple times of like, well, did he just come along at the wrong time to get the appreciation that he truly deserves as an artist in order to thrive in the environment more comfortably? You get what I'm saying?
I think he went the wrong direction, is what I think. I don't think the timing was his enemy.
Okay, you don't. Okay.
Yeah, because I think
I
when
could
he
see him getting
came out,
lost in the shuffle around that time a little bit too.
yeah, I
You know
think
what
that
I'm saying?
whole
That's why
brand
I'm asking
hustle.
because it's like he's super talented, but charisma-wise, is he a big star? Like, no. Like, how about this? Is he like he's more talented than Bruno Mars is to me? You know what I'm saying? But Bruno Mars is just charismatically and just overall, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But it's like B.O.B. should be doing like some like they just said he can play instruments. I believe he can sing too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's like you can
Yeah,
sing, you can
now
rap, you
that
can
part
play
of it, I'll
instruments.
give you, Coop. I think his singing, rapping thing might have been slightly ahead of where
That's
it
what I'm
needed to be.
saying.
Yeah,
Like, because if you look at really what he does, doesn't Anderson .Paak kind of do that?
yeah, you're
And
right.
isn't it kind
And
of
Anderson .Paak can
engaging
rap
to
too.
everybody now?
You're right.
Okay,
You're
that
right.
was my whole point.
You're
My
right.
whole point.
Because when Anderson .Paak came in the door, he was billed as a rapper as well.
But he was revered for also having these musical skills. It's like, oh, he can drum, he can sing too, and it's like,
Wow.
like B.O.B.
And then the whole Bruno Mars connection, that's very interesting. Jay Short with the super chat. Shout out to Jay Short in the building early. He says, you go get a crew of gritty rappers from back home, put them on, and make them a group. They have to be better than the St. Lunatics. Now, you know what? That St. Lunatic situation was wild, too, because when you think about it, Ali, who was, Ali is very knowledgeable. Let's put it that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, and how he carries himself and just knowledge of self is what the term I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he even, kind of rode the wave that was going on with, the foundation that Nelly set, I thought that was interesting, man, because I'm sure those guys probably wanted to make something else other than, country grammar and all of that, but they went with it.
I mean, see, this is what I mean. You have to understand, and people forget this. EI was the first single originally. The label switched and made it Country Grammar when they heard Country Grammar. EI was supposed to be the first single. EI, they had already made EI before they went to the label.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I thought we were going to hear was more EI and not Ride With Me or Country Grammar. You feel what I'm saying? Because
Right.
EI was like their local shit. And I still think EI is the best beat and the best song on that album, like personally.
Do you think that EI should have went before Country Grammar? I don't.
That depends on, that's what I'm saying. How about this? It's like when you say that, it's like, okay, so that album did about 6 or 7 million units, right?
Yeah, it's hard to refute that, but yeah.
Okay, so you can't refute that, but here's what I'll submit to you. With EI, he's going to go triple, but his street cred's going to be different. You feel me?
Does he need the street cred if you're going out
That's
the
all
box
about.
like
That's what I'm
that?
talking about. It's all about how you want your career to go and how you want to shape it and brand it. And as long as you're cool shaping it and branding it more in the vein of Country Grammar and Ride With Me and what's the
Yeah.
joint with Kelly?
Oh, you
As long as
talking
you're
about
cool.
Dilemma and stuff? Yeah.
Dilemma, like as long as you're cool with that, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
As long as
Dilemma's
you're cool with
on
that, the same
the
way
second
cool-
album, but yeah.
The same way Ray's cool with being labeled with the purple tape. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different lanes for everybody. You cool with Hot in Here and Country Grammar? Okay, that's fine. I'm telling you, if EI drops first, he's still going to be a very big multi-platinum rapper, but he's probably not going to do that 6 or 7, and he's probably not going to end up directly in that lane. But who knows?
So B.O.B.'s coming up during the time where Future has the streets on lock in Atlanta, and
See, there we go. That's
yeah,
not good.
and so the
It's not
streets
good.
of Atlanta are real hardcore with the club music, and I've always said this too, and no disrespect to any artist, but I want to put certain names out there to kind of paint a picture. But like when you got younger guys who make music in the vein of like a Corday, or you know what I'm saying, or even Joey Badass to a certain degree, but I'll use Corday as an example since he's much younger. If you're going out with your friends and you're Corday, you're on, like really on,
Mm-hmm.
well respected. You go out with your friends, these are young cats. Nobody's playing your music in the clubs. How does that feel to a artist that, you know what I mean, is out there popping and they're young people, like, but they're getting acknowledgement from like people who aren't their peers on some older shit. Like, how does that work? And I guess for B.O.B.'s situation or standpoint, the music that the crowd that his music, was catering to wasn't clearly the crowd that he was and what his circle of friends looked like. So that's probably one of those things too, where his friends like, nigga, you need to make a song with Future, man. What you doing? You know what I'm saying?
No, so this is what it is. This goes to, you remember We Still in This Bitch?
Mm-hmm.
That's a very dope record, but that record's not for B.O.B.
Exactly. But
And
that
he's
record
dope
is
on
a
that record, and it's a
product.
dope record.
That record is a product of him trying to, get that kind of love.
Right.
I remember when I saw Nelly doing that for the first time, and I was like, no, don't do this. And it was around Sweatsuit where he start kind of going that right. It's like, no, don't do this, man. You Nelly. You up here, and that's cool. Drake's been able to balance that out really well too. And I think that when you think about people who haven't been able to have that kind of balance, you got to think that Drake has sat back and studied and saw what to do and what not to do.
What balance? What balance are you talking
I
about?
think the fact that like he'll jump on something like a Block Boy JB, and you know what I'm saying, you know what I mean, balance it out in that way. Like, I'll make my shit, but I'm not gonna go totally conform on my single, but I'll jump on something that's already popping and get that kind of love in that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Very
We made
smart.
it. We made it.
What's that? Yeah, stuff like that. So, but yeah, I mean, with that being said, though, I just
But it's
think
different times. It's different
It is
people
different
behind
times.
the scenes handling his situations for him. You know what I mean? That's what
Right.
I'm saying. Like, because when I mean, and we're going to kind of get to this in a minute. When Tip handling B.O.B. situation some?
I think that was problematic too, because he was a part of Hustle Gang, and I think that there has to be some level of pressure there to actually fit in with that crew musically.
Yeah. Isn't Shoulder Lean popping around this time too?
Now that was well before that, but this is when they start making those Hustle Gang compilation albums.
Okay, so this is about 2 years after Shoulder Lean, right?
Mm-hmm. Ray
Mm-hmm.
Realms with the super chat says, "Not meaning to go off topic, but your last episode was epic. Mad insider, even spooky information that you brothers weren't scared to explore." Yeah, yeah.
We're still exploring those
We're
comments.
still exploring, you know.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to hearing from OG, you know what I'm saying, so we can hear a little bit more about his tenure at Def Jam and stuff like that. So that we can verify some information, man. Somebody got on Twitter and they tagged LL Cool J and talk about, they talking about you in the chat and this and that, and I'm like, yo, man, I just want to make sure that the facts come out in the way that they come out.
First of all, whoever did that was real tacky how they framed that to LL. Because it's like they actually tried to make it seem like we were the one that disseminated the information. The information got brought to us by somebody live on our podcast. We can't speak to the factuality of it. You and I have been having conversations trying to find out the validity of it. So we're currently investigating for evidence.
Yeah,
investigating for evidence.
And again, man, like I said, we don't know what's real, what's not. Could have been a troll. Could have been somebody who was really a part of it. Who knows? We'll find out. And,
pretty epic troll.
Huh?
It's pretty epic troll if it was a troll.
Pretty epic troll. I'm just putting everything out there. And, and I don't want people to feel like, anybody could come in this room and say they worked for Rockers and, you know what I'm saying, that somebody wrote Traveling Man for Most Def,
I mean, my feelings were hurt. I don't think you understand. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and he said he loved LL, and I believe him, man. I believe that part.
It's hard not to. Don't we all? Do you know somebody out here that really doesn't love LL? Like, do you know that person?
If you love hip hop, you gotta love LL. Speaking of which, LL's hosting the VMAs with Nicki Minaj and Jack Harlow.
See, he can do anything.
Who, Jack Harlow or LL? Why is Jack Harlow hosting the show? Let's be perfectly honest, man. I mean, really. It's been a minute since I've heard a song that was forced on radio to this degree. It's crazy, man. Because I don't really listen to the radio like that, but like when I'm taking my daughter around and stuff, I don't want to just put in the joint. I just, go to whatever radio station and I hear that song in maybe like a 30-minute commute 2 or 3 fucking times, and I'm like, nobody really likes this song. Like, have anybody in the chat been like anywhere and somebody like, man, put that Jack Harlow shit on? Like, really?
That's why I just be riding like with I be riding with my daughter. I just be like, hey, like, how this sound? She'd be like, no, that ain't it. Like,
nobody like that. No, and you know what's crazy?
Ain't no radio finna happen. Like we're lost on radio.
You know what's crazy though? Even with that type of radio exposure, this album came out in May. We're in August. Where the other singles at? God dang.
Very problematic.
Y'all still playing this record? Y'all been playing this record for like 6 months. What is it, 1999 or something?
I don't know. So many people are mad at us right now. It's just like, I don't know.
I'm just keeping it real, man. I think everybody feels the same way about this record, man. Like, this is nothing personal. It's just, I've never seen a record pushed on us like this. Even Beyonce's moving on to the next single.
Definitely feel like I'm being force-fed.
Come on. Even they're moving on to the next single. And it's only been like a month for that record, which is a lifetime in 2022. But to play a record for 6 months in this era on the radio, that is insane.
It's very gin and juice like, except for the record. It's definitely not gin and juice.
It's not that era anymore, like where you can play, like manufactured hits is what I call them. And so anyway, yeah, he's going to be hosting the VMAs. And you know what, one thing that I will say about this too.
Very good for his brand.
Before I get off of this soapbox, if he's like that, why can't he just host the VMAs by himself? You need the support of LL and Nicki, huh?
Because he... Okay. So Nicki,
I was looking
No
for an
doubt.
answer.
Those are classically trained people. Okay, they have done things in TV and in film over a course and a duration of time. Says they have the capability to host this show. He's definitely there to learn.
So you're saying that they are training their possible replacement.
I mean,
Well, that's not too far off because we're talking about a gentleman who got on Ebro in the morning and bragged about the
supposedly,
fact that he didn't even have to do a tryout to get the role for White Man Can't Jump too.
told you. I mean, I didn't let him in the barbecue. Did you let him in?
I don't think anybody did.
I was on the grill
They're
cooking
still
ribs.
trying to force him in. I don't think he's in the barbecue.
I don't know. Let him
They
in.
tried to get Brandy out there on stage with him at the BET Awards. That still didn't take. Had Lil Wayne out there. Had a bunch of dancers out there. He out there doing the electric slide or attempting to do so at the BET Awards. No one's still taking it.
Used to know this dude, Mike. His name was Big Walt. Big Walt used to tell me, he used to be like, he's like Coop. He's like, you can't just spray certain things on like it's cologne and expect people to, not smell your shit still. You know what I mean? He's like, you can't spray it on, Coop. You feel
Listen,
me?
man, at the end of the day, man,
It really don't matter how many times they spray it on, like, you know what I mean? It's like, that's why I'm kind of like, I get what you're saying, and it's kind of like a serious issue, but I'm kind of like laughing it off because it's like, well, what it's really showing you is it's like, oh, well, you can keep on spraying it on, but it's like, that don't make it authentic. It's like when something's authentic, I mean, like, there's certain fragrances that I keep, you know what I'm saying? And I can literally go, ksh, ksh, and it stays on the entirety of the day. And then the next time I should wear that, even after washing it, you can still smell it on your clothes. You feel what I'm saying?
No, really.
Like, because the authentic, the real stuff, you know what I mean? You can't get it off when it's real.
Yeah.
When it's not real, you got to keep spraying it on to make it smell good. You got to keep on reapplying it.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, listen, I think that at the end of the day, I just want everybody to earn it, and
Right.
earn that spot. Because if they had somebody like Dua Lipa doing, hosting the show, I'm like, man, she got hits. Shit, even if we talk about somebody like another person who gets played on the radio, but it doesn't feel forced, is Doja Cat. Her shit's
Get out my
everywhere.
head. I knew you were going to say
Everywhere.
her.
And it's
have her as a
rightfully
host,
everywhere.
She's a more deserving host and more interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even the record that she got with Tiger, I'm like, man, this is a hit.
I'm thinking about a potential back and forth, not only with her and Nicki, but also with her and LL. And it's like, oh, no, I can see that.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to throw a rookie into the fire to, like you said, train them up, at least let it be somebody who earned it through hits.
So this is what I mean. It's like, so let's go to like a franchise. It's almost like, it's different when you play for the Lakers and the Celtics. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
It's like that's who he is right now. It's like they put him like almost like on the winningest franchises in history. It's like he's not just a rookie. He's like a rookie for the Celtics or the Lakers. That's a different type of rookie. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
You feel me? It's like that. The notoriety, the look on it is different. When Dirk was a rookie in Dallas, wasn't nobody paying attention. When Kobe was a rookie in LA, people were paying attention.
No, that's real. Matt Max in the super chat says LL top 5 ever. Laughing my ass off. Had you in the chat speaking crazy on LL. No, man, that was the chat, like you said, not us. Jay Short with the super chat says Timberland gonna produce Harlow's next album. Timberland gonna be like, I'll take it over. Let me get that.
That better not happen. We're gonna have a whole.
Well, you know what? If it did happen hypothetically, would you be surprised?
Nothing surprises me anymore.
We're going to talk about producers today, too, and we're going to talk a little bit about what Diddy had to say about Trilla and the fact that him and Jermaine Dupri are going to be doing I guess, kind of a versus, but it's like a hit for hits, also the Bad Boy thing. Said they're going to do it in Atlanta. We'll talk about that. But I want to get on to, I want to keep talking about some of the new music, too, before we go on to that.
That's just very problematic. We're going to talk about Biggie Smalls.
What you think about the Your Old Drugs album?
I was really impressed.
Okay.
Although I share some of your same behind the scenes sentiment about, what and who he sounds like.
Yeah. That's always tough, but yeah, it's some dope hardcore music, man. I
No,
think
like
that you think it's
he
a top 20 album in 2022 from what
it
you
has
heard
a
so far.
I mean, it is only 16 minutes long, but it definitely has a chance to be because there's really, you know, it still does feel more like an EP. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? And it's not necessarily about the song length. I think it's more about the brevity. I think, you
People in
know,
the chat saying it's fire.
because
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
like so I'm gonna tell you. Let me just read my notes out right quick.
Uh-huh.
I said this is the difference between an EP. This is the difference between a true great EP and an album. The feel on this EP, it's great. It's old fashioned. The beats and the bars are absurd. And then I went to some of the bar work. You can't spell caption without the first three letters.
Mm.
Another one. Make a rapper get in touch with his roots like Black Thought.
I remember hearing that line.
Like,
Bars.
so the bar work is there. The beats are there. The brevity and the awareness about the project is not up to par. So it's like, you need to get the word out more. And he might want to think about doing an extended version with about 2 more songs to make this about a 21 to 22 minute project to make it a little bit more, fulfilling. Mm-hmm. Like fill up the plate a little bit more, not even song wise, just like this isn't a song thing. This is a time thing. Like a couple of these records could have been 5 minutes long and he could have went in different. He could have did some Timbaland type of 2020 experience, Justin Timberlake shit and switch the beat, 3.5
I think we
minutes
live in a real delicate time right now when the streaming era is one of those things where it's like I can either make a super lengthy album or a super short album, and I think that everybody's trying to find that perfect median. I think Kanye was on to something when he did the 7-song thing. I think for a lot of people, they feel like that's too short. But when you think about people's attention span when it comes to listening to a cohesive effort, I think that that's kind of spot on. I think the other approach is what Game did with the 30 records, and it's like, okay, well, I'm going to make a record for everybody to put on their individual playlist. Game essentially made a playlist style album.
So, and I dig that because it's one of those things. It's like, oh, you can hop in your whip, hop back out, hop back in, keep rolling. It feels new.
Yeah.
So I get the psychology behind that. But let me express another psychology to you because I wrote about this when the whole 7-song thing was happening. This is before we had the podcast. And I wrote the reviews for what? Daytona, Kids See Ghost, Yay, and
Nasir.
Yeah. And part of the reason why I said that is because, well, here's the reality of the matter. Look at what gas prices are. Look at what the working wage is. People are trying to get where they need to go as quick as possible and get back for a variety of economical ways.
You're right.
And so you might only have, people used to not mind traveling and being in the car for hours.
And just ride.
Right. People mind now about the cost of food, the cost of gas, the cost of cars, the cost of everything. And so people are moving different, and people have been moving different for a minute and making their lives more compact and efficient. And so that same person that didn't mind being in the car and out with their family all day and going here, and there for about 2.5 hours, you got them for 30 minutes, Mike.
You're right. Eric Terrell with the super chat says, Mike and Coop, Jodeci versus H-Town, 10 songs. Don't do Jodeci like that. No disrespect to H-Town, but
Yeah. I don't want to disrespect H-Town either.
Yeah.
They got some stuff like They Like It Slow, but they don't got
Jodeci is a monster, man.
Now
people in the chat are saying that Drillmatic's fire. Some people are saying it's whack. Listen. What do y'all think? We're
somewhere in the middle.
I want to know what people think, and maybe I should put a poll in there, like, because somebody just said it's better than It's Almost Dry. I don't know.
That's not true.
They both have very similar issues to me.
Yes.
Yeah. Cohesiveness.
You want to know what? That was my note that we need to get to right quick that we really didn't do. We've done a Friday show, a Monday Patreon show that we're going to talk about in a little bit, and a Wednesday show, but we have not officially rated Drillmatic. Cheat Codes, or Traumazine, Meg's album, and we need to give him official ratings. So what are we?
We
So we need to
rated
give him.
no. We rated those two on the Patreon. No, we didn't rate Megan.
Hold on. What we gave? We gave Cheat Codes 4.5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
we
was just
rated
making
it on.
sure
Yeah,
because I
after we
wasn't
went through
sure.
and played them, yeah, we rated it on the Patreon. On the
Okay.
Patreon show.
And the Games album, we gave a 4.
Well, I believe so, or 4.25. You got to go check out the show. But yeah,
Very
the
problematic.
link to the
That was early.
Patreon's
That's my
up top.
rest day. I'm gonna have to recalibrate everything around it.
Esquire with the super chat says, y'all heard it here first. JID's The Forever Story is shaping up to be a strong album of the year contender. His last two offerings were solid, but this one may be the one. I'm glad he said that because we were going to talk about JID. What do you
We're
think
gonna talk
about?
about his 2 songs.
What
Yeah.
do you think about that assessment?
What do you think about the songs? Because
I
I was
think they're
pretty
just-
impressed.
You're impressed? I'm
I
not
was.
overly impressed. I think maybe I need to hear it in the flow of the album.
Okay, so I'll tell you what I wasn't impressed by. I wasn't impressed by everybody else but him. You weren't impressed with the JID songs?
They were cool.
I was sitting listening to it, and I was thinking to myself, like, Meg's been answering these questions about her flow sounding the same. How come nobody says that about 21?
You're right. 21 really isn't even out here like that. You know what I'm saying? Like
he's been doing a whole bunch of guest verses for a minute, but he's been doing more than Lil Baby, which I'll give you credit for because you said you prefer 21 to Lil Baby, and he's been the one that's doing like all these guest features.
But he hasn't really given us. Well, he gave us Savage Mode 2 in 2020. Was that 2020? And then even before that,
him and Lil Baby haven't dropped since 2020. It was just Lil Savage dropped later in the year, and Lil Baby dropped early.
But I feel like before that, what was it? 2017? Because I know we were waiting on Savage Mode 2 for a minute.
Might have been.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think we get so used to people in their class and that make the style of music that they make to come out so frequently. When you make these kind of spaces, it's like you're not here anymore. You know what I mean? And it is interesting for them because they're of the era where they're the social media artists. So when you see these artists on social media all the time and you don't hear their music but in like 2 or 3 year increments, it feels like they're not working. You know what I mean?
You want to know what? That's very valid. It can feel that way.
Yeah. And not to say that they aren't, but it feels that way. Because somebody like Kendrick, you never see him on social media. You know what I'm saying? So when he takes his breaks, it's like, okay, it's just Kendrick living his life, doing his thing. But if you see these guys posting shit on social media every day, like a Lil Baby, like a 21 or whatever, and then you don't hear any music for 2-3 years, you're like, what's going on?
Okay, so what do you think about so listen, what do you think about JID? Because we just got done. Because here's the thing, we're having like a little bit of an Atlanta conversation today, which actually is funny because it doesn't happen too often on this show, and we're based out of Atlanta, and you are literally from here, and I'm about as from here as you can get because I've been down here since I was literally 1 year old. Like my birth certificate says Charlotte. I've spent more time in Atlanta than I have in Charlotte.
And I want to talk about, as a Atlantean, I want to talk about that Jadakiss bar where he says, "Why does New York radio sound like Atlanta?"
Right.
But
no.
To get to your other point, what do I think about JID? I think JID's nice. I think that he can rhyme. I think he lacks in the voice department, but I think that is
you can't really control that.
No, you can't control that. I think he's but he's somebody that's probably of the Kendrick era, you know what I mean? Where he's probably heavily influenced by Kendrick to the point where it may have influenced. Not saying that's not his voice, but you know how you approach your rap voice.
Okay, so let me ask you something. Lyrically, how about this? Because we're having a conversation.
Flow is crazy.
So you brought up Sci-Hi, and we talked B.O.B.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk T.I. Lyrically, where would you put him in reference to them? Because he's not Andre or CeeLo in my opinion. And so so who is he in relationship to those three guys though? And you can throw Luda and Big Boy in there too. Like who is he to you lyrically? What do you hear?
Lyrically, he's not Sci-Hi. I think lyrically, when you talk about punchline rhyming, and I think if Sci-Hi was from Brooklyn or Queens, we would hold him high as a punchline MC. So
Okay.
he's not him.
Okay. So here's what I'm okay. And so and even though you think Sahab is probably a better punchline rapper than these guys, you don't find Sahai to be a better lyricist than Andre or CeeLo inherently, do you?
Uh Man, that's so. We've talked about our whole discrepancies with Andre's lack of solo material.
I'm just
But
talking. No. We're not talking about that.
but
I'm just
based
talking about the
on
skill
the
level.
work that
No,
he's
we're just talking skill level. We're talking the skill level.
skill level, no, I don't.
Okay.
And I think that the
No.
other part of that is just the massive amounts of diverse material and subject matter that people like CeeLo and Andre could take on and make it connect and make you feel it. Now, I think JID is incredibly technically proficient, but I don't think he makes you feel in a way that some of those artists do. And Sahai's even done that. Like, I love the record Don't Be Good, Be Great. Like, I wake up to that shit in the morning where he starts off with the Tupac interview or whatever, and then he goes in it. That shit's hard. And I can't say JID's made anything that I've connected to like that. Not yet.
Yeah.
No. He has the ability to do so, yes.
So I'm going to squab with you a little bit, not a lot. And here's what I'm going to tell you. I agree with everything that you're saying, but I'm going to tell you what I heard on these two songs because I thought about Sci-Hi is that, well, no, but he lyrically, flow and delivery wise is close enough to Sci-Hi. And it's looking like to me that he might end up being a better song maker than Sci-Hi. And in this game, that trumps that super lyrical miracle if you can come close and be the better song maker. And so what I hear potentially is somebody that could be an all-time great MC, at least down here in terms of how we're ranking him, because I see Sci-Hi type of capabilities lyrically and flow and delivery wise. But I see a song maker that might come out that's better than Sci-Hi. And I think that this album is going to tell that tale or not. And so
I hope they both
important.
drop an album this year so we can kind of really measure that evenly. Because I think Sci-Hi has some pretty good songs on No Dope on Sundays, too.
And also, too, and this is for me because, you know, Mike, most of my time down here, most of my childhood down here was spent either literally in the city of Atlanta or on the east side. And it's like, to hear these guys rap like this, like knowing what it sounded like when I was a kid.
It's great. Mad Max with the super chat. Shout out to Mad Max repping for his generation. He said, Cap, the generation.
Like it was tag team on Memorial Drive, and you know what I'm saying?
Mad Max says, Cap, the generation attention span isn't that bad. I listen to Illmatic, 50 minutes and 9 records. Almost 4 minutes a record. These guys don't have enough content to make 4-minute records. Daytona's mostly 2 minutes and 30-second songs.
Illmatic is 39 minutes and 20 seconds. First of all,
Mad Max also says, if the music is good, we're gonna bump the music. The music is an experience. You can't do that in 2 minutes. That's why today's music doesn't hold. I think that's a really good point because there's only so much you can do in 2 minutes.
You know, it was funny. My sister, my youngest sister, was 15 years younger than me. I can remember about 4 years ago, we were out. Where were we? I forget where we were. We were at a club. It was literally me and my sister and my brother. I was with my younger brother and my younger sister, and we ran up into the spot right quick. And she was like, yo, Coop, you know, we don't care, right? She was like, we know that the music's not good and it's just like the music for the moment and that it's not going to stay. And she was like, and we don't care. I was like, oh,
that's a fair point.
Yeah. I was like, you know, that was real. She's about 21 when she told me that.
But what does that do for music in the long run?
Yeah. I mean, so they're just not concerned with it. They're just concerned with what they feel and what they vibe with right now. And so music does kind of get made in that way. I think what the mature artists have done and the real tacticians, the real artists, the real MCs have learned how to fit what it is they do into a 2 minute and 30 seconds, a 3 minute and 15 second format. And Mike, that's not too much uncommon to Berry Gordy's theory when Motown is first coming out. Right. See, these things cycle themselves.
I was gonna say,
so we need to stop treating these kids like they are fucking stupid.
No, I agree with you. I was gonna say, man, when you talk about that format of 2 minutes, 30 seconds, 3 minutes, it reminded me of like the hit radio records from the 60s. Because I remember there was like a radio station here in Atlanta that used to play music from the 50s and 60s when I was growing up. And me and my dad used to listen to it. My dad was a teacher, so we had summers together. We ride around listening to that, and I used to be like, Dad, why are these songs so short? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So no, this isn't anything new. This is before albums became albums, and they were selling mostly singles. Before the Beatles came along and actually put concept albums together, and people were making short songs for the radio. And so I think in the digital era, we're back in that mindset, whether people want to admit that or not.
You didn't even know what Diana Ross's voice was really like because the damn record was fading out by the time she really started singing. Singing, by the time she started singing.
Right, when they start really going on their runs, the records start tuning down. And
by the time they really start doing, because, they would just be, singers are just like ball players, like rappers, like they get about 2-3 minutes in. Oh, that's when they start feeling it and ad-libbing and running. Damn record going off when they start doing the runs. All the records are like that. It's like, oh, she can sing. Hold on, fade, off. Next song.
Mad Max with the super chat says, however, we feel about Drake, K. Dot, and Cole. They're the last rappers who had albums where they even had songs with 3 verses. They also are the last superstar MCs. I really do feel like Drake is probably the last superstar that the industry was able to, I don't want to say create, but you know what I mean.
Cultivate.
Launch.
Harness to success.
Yes. Yes. I don't think that they have successfully launched a superstar since Drake.
No, they keep trying to spray it on Jack Harlow. That's what I'm saying. It's like this. When and I'll say this about Drake. This is what I mean about a certain level of cream is still always going to rise. Oh, they didn't have to spray that shit on Drake, but one time.
Yeah. And he helped them out a lot too because he put in the work. Whenever he showed up to a feature, he showed up. And the songs were important.
Hey, don't get it twisted. It's like Rick Ross, like all these dudes. Yeah, they all all use Drake.
007 with the super chat. Shout out to 007. He says, I overshot Game's album. It is a 4.25, but trimmed to the best 12 songs, then the rating will change. Maybe I sound like an old head, but the game has changed with artists. I hate social media and social media's impact. Also discuss DJ Clue's remarks. What were DJ Clue's remarks? I missed that. Did you know anything about DJ Clue's remarks?
No, I did not.
You want to Google it real quick, maybe? I don't know. Is it that serious? 007 said it, so, 007.
Oh, 007 said it?
Yeah, that was 007 saying that. Michael Sanders with the super chat says, I think Saha is better lyrically than Andre and CeeLo. Just my opinion. I understand your opinion. And I don't think your opinion on that is crazy. Because Saha, if you put him in a situation where it's just him and the mic, you're going to hear some mind-blowing shit. I'm going to give him that with the LA Leakers freestyle that he did this year. I think that's freestyle of the year.
No, I get what you guys are saying.
I get what he's saying, too.
In this rap, okay, I'm just going to let that go. Because it's like, the guy that's hanging on my wall, I keep talking about him because it's like, oh, well, you're lyrically better than him. Show me where else that you're better.
Yeah, that's fair.
Where else is Sci-Hi better than Dre? That's what I'm saying. Is it's like, oh, well, that's fine. He can be lyrically better, like if you say so. And even that is debatable.
Yeah.
But everything else is Andre. It's like, well, who has the better voice? Delivery, cadence, nuance, content. Like, where you want to go? Where you want to go other than lyrically? Because
all right, this is where I think about.
It's not personal. It's
Dre.
just like for as much flex as we give Andre, we do have to understand the only reason we give him flex is because there's no solo album. If you just want to start comparing MCs and be like, hold on, who checking what boxes? Ain't nobody in Atlanta checking more boxes.
Like if you want to just pull up his 16 ain't enough verse, it's like, yeah, nah, this.
I mean, actually, if you want to go, like, if you really want to go checking boxes, there's nobody in the South that's checking more boxes. It's just the box that he's missing is like the biggest box. It's like you're the best student in the class, and the final is 30%, 40% of the grade, and you don't show up to the final, but you're the best student. Everybody knows you're the best student in the class. Like we all know. We all know what the best student in the class is.
Finals
like,
matter.
But the final matters.
Yeah. Man,
the final counts on your grade.
Yeah.
It counts on your grade. Just because you're the best student in the class doesn't mean you get to skip the final. In hip hop, the final is the solo album for the MC.
It is. It is. Even for people like Prodigy and Jada, like, you know what I mean? We were waiting on that final album. I think Kel just sent me a text. Did you find what he was saying about
Clue shit? No, I look.
Let me see.
We're in Atlanta. That might be, you know what I'm saying?
Well, sure. Let me see what Kel. 007. Now me.
You know, my Google different. They're like deer and fucking geese around here. Like,
man, there with the super chat says, 80s, 90s had the best rap songs. 3 verses, 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
But hold on, and also too, you want to know you know. This is my cousin Six. This is what I mean about how everything that I listen to riding around with him. Eric Sermon actually did this format, the hip hop format that exists now. Eric Sermon actually did this on El Nino. Every track on El Nino really doesn't go past 3 minutes and 27 seconds. It's short, it's compact, it's compressed because he was dealing with 2 very, very lyrically dense guys at once on an album. And so his best way of feeding it to you and still making you nod your head and making it enjoyable while still keeping the lyrical credibility intact was to give it some brevity. And so El Nino, you remember El Nino Death Squad? Every record on there is like 3 minutes, or 3 minutes and 30 seconds, or 2 minutes and 45 seconds, or 3 minutes and 16 seconds. That was strategic. I think there's only one record in there that clocks like over 3 minutes and 45 seconds on El Nino. So it's also, too, we need to stop acting like the wheel's getting reinvented. Like, artists do this when they see that it fits.
Right. And I think we're just seeing it a lot more consistently now. KD says, Shaq said Drillmatic is album of the year. That means it's album of the year. Yeah, what Shaq said this goes.
Who said that?
Shaquille O'Neal. All right, I found what DJ Clue said. DJ Clue tweeted, a lot of these records would be better if these rappers took a pen and pad and wrote their raps down. It needs to be well thought out and not just saying anything. Some of these songs is ABC and awful. The fuck? You know, what DJ Clue has said, I've said for years. And I never liked when, and I get it, they're geniuses. I never liked the fact that they harped on the fact that Biggie and Jay never wrote their shit down. Because what happened was you get a lot of other people who need to write their shit down, attempting to do it just to say they did it. I never really loved the notion where Jay was, you know, I think the whole one take hold was dope because he was just in a zone. But see, my thing has always been, and this is just my personal opinion, like when I was recording, I'm not Jigga, nothing like that, obviously. But if your first take was great, try a second one. It might be even better. You know what I'm saying? I've always felt like when speaking of Andre 3000, when I listen to Andre rhyme and everything that he's put out there, you could tell this nigga took time writing that shit, took time recording that shit, and didn't just settle for the first take. Because I always feel like if you go with the first take, unless you just know, like, yo, I can't do this better than that, you're settling.
So let's speak to this. Let's speak to this like artistically and academically. Mm-hmm. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to address it academically for you. Well, Tupac and Nas' stuff is getting taught in Ivy League schools. Okay, you want to know why? It was written down.
It was written, and you know I never put those two things together. You got somebody who doesn't write And then you got the other guy with an album called It Was Written.
No, he's talking about both of the
I've
guys. He's
never
talking about
thought
both of the
about
guys who
that.
don't write. Talking about both of the guys who don't write.
That's
But it's
crazy.
also no. This is what I mean
I
about
never
there's so
thought
many
about
levels.
that.
No. There's so many levels because no. It's biblical, as he's saying it was meant for me to be this.
Right.
And also the reason that it was meant for me to be this is because it was actually written.
It was written, right. Because I've always taken
Right.
the It Was Written title as, like you said, the biblical standpoint.
No, it means it was written like biblically, but it also means it was written like for me to. It's one life, one love, so it can only be one king.
And you guys don't write.
And you guys don't write. Let me let y'all niggas, not nigga, let me let y'all niggas know one thing. It's one life, one love, so there can only be one king. It was written. That's the way that the Bible's written. It doesn't go by multiple kings, it goes by the king, kingdom. It was written. Those are shots fired, right?
Interesting.
Right.
I've never put those two things together, but yes.
That's not even the conversation. Told you he's the greatest MC of all time. Even before this run, I was saying he was the greatest MC of all time.
Leroy Green said it's a reach. It's just biblical. Okay. I've been reaching a lot lately, obviously. The Eminem fans say I'm reaching when it comes to the Black Slim Shady.
We have been reaching for 2.5 years almost. So we just gonna keep on reaching.
What do you think of what DJ Clue said?
Well, I'm gonna go back to the Tupac and Nas getting taught in Ivy League schools, or even the Lupe deleted tweet where his stuff is being disseminated at MIT. So, you know what these things are? They're written down. And I say this respectfully. It's like, well, you're not gonna really find Jay and Big stuff there, because part of what makes them work is that their flow is so sick, and that is what not writing does for you. It makes your flow sicker.
Now, I give you that, because you're hearing the track and you're able to just bounce off of that. And the lyrics are kind of there, but it's more style and flow oriented if you're not focusing on the writing side of it.
Now, I'm going to admit to something. You know why this picture is hanging on my wall, right? My cousin Six, who is my producer, told me after I did my first solo project, he's like, he got this for me on my birthday, the Biggie picture. He said, well, the only thing missing for you is your flow. He was like, the flow, Coop. And so my whole thing when I was working on my second project was the flow. And so I would not write a song. And my second project that nobody heard is way better than like the first one that I put out on iTunes. That's like a lot of the stuff that I send you where people are like, oh shit, Coop flow. Well, it's because I stopped writing before I would write. Now, I still wrote it down because I'm a writer. But here was my thing about the shit that they were doing and about the flow. I wouldn't write anything down until I had the first 8 bars memorized and I had a hook that I thought was viable memorized. So we're talking about I had to have 12 bars in my head that I could repeat before I could fucking spit my shit out. And I was lyrically the same, but my flow is much fucking better.
Yeah.
It makes your flow sicker. Beanie Siegel talks about the difference between Beanie Siegel on the first 2 albums and on the Becoming is that he stopped writing. He talked about it right before the Becoming came out. He's like, the shit make your flow so sick. It does. It makes your flow sicker no matter who you are. If you're a writer and you stop writing it and you memorize it first, or you memorize it like literally in your head, like that photographic shit, and you got to have a certain type of memory to do it. Not everybody can do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not easy to do. It's not easy to hold it and repeat it and regurgitate it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times too, because, and I think this might be what Clue is speaking to. I don't know who he's talking about specifically or what group he's talking about specifically, a group of people, But I think when you do it just to say you did it, you might go out there in the studio and start punching in. And it's going to affect the record. You know what I mean? Like, not to mention the, lack of substance and all those things. But people could tell when, you were able to use technology to get past that hurdle. There didn't even need to be a hurdle.
There's 2 sides to that. I'm going to give you 2 sides to that. And we're going to go back to Siegel. Well, you can hear him punching in on Feel It in the Air. But he's such a pro and his flow's so sick. His flow was already sick. Like, without without not writing it, his flow was already crazy sick anyway. He's punching someone, feel it in the air. But as that album goes on, you know what you hear? You hear a dude that's not punching because he's getting it down. And by the time you hear him, like at the end on like what's my joint? Right before it's on.
I know what you're talking about. I hear the sample in my head right now, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I mean, I think though the sacrifice and balance that you have to give up for some artists, like you said, everybody's not going to have that gift. But I think a lot of people used it as bragging rights, and it got to a point where people just get on a record and say anything. You know, I'm gonna just keep it 100, and I know we got this guy ranked very high a lot, but I felt like Wayne was doing that at a certain point where he would just get in the booth and say anything. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't sit there and write down Weezy F Baby, the F's for phenomenal. You did not write that down.
I agree. So let me give you what I feel like the caveat is. Most of these guys who are all-time great that don't write, like, first of all, I mean, we can go to like Big and Jay specifically. Well, they were lyrically great before they stopped writing. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like Big and Jay were great writers too.
Right.
Right. Like, it's not like they just woke up one day, like, and didn't, you feel what I'm saying? No. They were great writers. The stuff that they wrote is great. Like, Mike, there are people around me that always used to joke. It's like, yeah, but his best shit is the shit that he wrote, and that's Reasonable Doubt. No. Best shit is the shit that he wrote.
Well, he said the last thing that he wrote, just to clarify, was Can I Live? I think they said that's the last time he picked up.
I mean, Mike, that's a pretty Mike, that's a pretty high fucking level.
Yeah, it is.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If that's the last thing that you wrote, that needs to be the bar by which you need. Be like, when you can rap like that and make a song like that, then you can stop writing too.
Well, speaking of new music and speaking of New York MCs, man, you sent me that full Jadakiss record. Was it like Rinse Repeat, something like that? Well, Flex has been challenging New York MCs to put out new music and send it to the radio station, and Jadakiss and Swiss answered the call. That shit is hard. That shit got me excited. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, now this is what we do this for. And I'm not even just saying that on some... Well, first of all, I want to say this, because y'all know I'm not a huge fan of Swiss Beats production like that. This Swiss Beats I can rock with. This shit is hard, and Jadakiss sounds amazing. Jadakiss' flow is crazy.
Very Jason
punchlines, yeah. And the whole line about, you know, like I said, where he was like, why does New York radio sound like Atlanta? Man, that's problematic, man. The New York radio needs to answer that for its constituents and the people in the city of New York.
You want to know what I found to be problematic? I found problematic the person that was dropping a bomb on that and then kept on looping it back about 12 times.
Flex agrees with that. Flex is let's keep it a buck. Even though Flex plays what he has to play, he has a job to do. He works for a corporation. Flex is probably the only, I don't say that. He's probably the biggest figure that's in New York radio that's trying to keep that energy. He conforms where he has to, but I think that even his freestyle segment that he has is so New York rappers can come up there and show their shit bar for bar. And that's why he's even challenging these guys. He's like, listen, y'all say I'm playing music from other places. I have to do that. Y'all bring me some music. It's an open line. And that's why he looped that, because he agrees with that statement. How could he not? He was really in New York radio in the 90s.
No. What he's saying, listen to what he's saying. He's saying, oh, well, that's only true because y'all don't make hot shit like y'all used to make. Like, there is no Infamous where you can pull up. Like, think about this. It's like, I can remember when the Infamous came out. It's like, oh, give up the goods, survival of the fittest, Trife Life, right back at you, drink away the pain, Shook Ones Part 2. Eye for an eye. They weren't just on anything. They were on every mixtape. They were on they were everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And what he's really saying is like, y'all don't run shit because y'all don't make the music anymore. And Kiss is like, no, nigga, I make the music. I don't know about these other guys.
And you know what? New York radio needs to support this record.
This is evidence.
New York radio needs to support this record.
Everybody, if you
everybody should, but New York radio specifically needs to support this record.
Yes. Like, how about this? The same way we talk about Atlanta radio needs to support Big Boy is the same way that like New York radio needs to jump on Kiss right now. Like, this record is fire.
Yeah.
It's a true album of the year contender.
Song of the year contender, right?
I mean, yeah, song of the year contender.
Ryan Gillum with the super chat says, how long should a rapper take to make a great album? K-Dot spent 3 months to make Good Kid, Mad City, but spent 3 years to make To Pimp a Butterfly. I think it depends on what zone you're in. You know, I think that you could tell when somebody is on a roll, and yeah, it might not take you that long to make a blueprint if you're on the roll. You know, if we even look at Jay, like it took him supposedly, a week and a half to make the blueprint? But he spent his longest time making an album, making the Blueprint 3. So, you know, you can't, it just depends on where that person is in the moment.
How long did it take him to make Reasonable Doubt?
A whole lifetime.
You feel what I'm saying?
But I don't know where he started it. I would imagine, though, for real, all jokes aside, probably about a year or so, you know, just collecting everything because his style changed.
And moving the way he was moving, you know what I'm saying? It's like, Reasonable Doubt probably took about like 9 to 14 months, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Jay Short with the super chat says Big and Jay also had great producers that fit. That's true too. And we're going to talk about the role of producers and all that as well. Everything is kind of coming together on this show. Mad Max with the super chat says Jada is the king of New York right now. Salute to Jada. Now that I can't refute.
I can't refute that. And I told you, so when we're having this all-time great MC conversation, like, how about this? If rap was R&B, and this was like the sixth, like, he would be the guy, because he's the guy that it's like, he can just pull up the radio and just drop joints like at will, and it's like, that shit's fire. That's what his people want. That's what his people ask for. He has a job to do.
He's like, look, y'all want that New York energy? Here it is. He showed you that in the verses.
Well, he's actually been showing us that for a quarter century.
No, he has. But I'm just saying, even in today's time.
No, that's what I mean. And so when you do that for a quarter century, who else has held New York down like this long? That's what I'm saying. If New York is the Mecca, and this is where hip-hop started, who has held hip-hop in New York down from beginning to end the way Kiss has?
It's a good point.
Because I don't care what you, because hold on, listen to what I'm about to say. Making Volume 1, making fucking I Am and Nostradamus, making Life After Death, that's not for New York.
No, it's not. I think Volume 2, you mean. I think Volume 1 might have been for New York.
No. I know what girls like. Sunshine?
Yeah,
I know what girls like. Sunshine?
Yeah. See, I'm trying to pull the...
with Black Street?
Yeah, I'm trying to pull the good stuff out of there. Yeah. Man Back to the super chat says, the last time I listened to the radio, Flex played this guy I went to school with named Bishop Noir. Oh, I've heard of him. He's dope. Who's like a mini MF Doom. So Flex does sprinkle it in. That's what's up. I think Flex wants New York to win because let's just be real. Like,
that's what he's saying.
Because even when Flex and Kid Capri were going back and forth, Kid Capri was talking about how how Kid Capri is just a worldwide global DJ. He's always touring this and that. And he says if Flex just stay in New York, he just does New York clubs. They consider Flex local. So, of course, Flex wants New York to win. You know what I mean? You don't see Flex out there DJing in Atlanta. I don't
even see Flex in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Why would he?
He's New York through and through.
That's like us pulling up and be like, we're according to hip-hop, based out of Atlanta. We're in New York today. It's like, we don't have an office in Atlanta. I mean, we don't have an office in New York.
Well, I mean, Lil Jon, does all kind of residencies in Vegas. He's always in Vegas DJing. You know what I'm saying? And most DJs who are notable worldwide DJs, they do tour a lot because they get a lot of dates everywhere else. But Flex is New York.
Flex's whole career.
Yeah.
Flex's whole career is a New York DJ.
Yeah.
He's in New York.
Melvin Wright in the super chat says Jada has garbage albums. He can't be the king of New York. Woo! You guys are tough today.
Garbage albums?
I wouldn't say
Don't forgive
garbage.
me if
I
his
think he
albums are
just may
garbage,
not
first
have
of all.
met the expectations of his skill set, maybe.
First of all, none of the albums are garbage. He just doesn't have a classic album.
We feel like he has the ability to make a classic album based on his skill set, and we haven't received an album that meets his potential. Is that the best way to put it?
See, this is what I mean. It's like, did you see him at that verses? It's like, okay, outside of album making, tell me where you think Kendrick is better than Jadakiss.
Nowhere. Storytelling, maybe stuff like that.
So he's a better storyteller and album maker.
I think this is what I'll say too.
Album making's big. I
Album
told you that's
making
your
is
final
huge.
test. That's the final exam.
I
The
think,
final
and you
exam is
just
the solo album.
you just alluded to this when we were talking about JID and Saha. I think he's probably a better songwriter.
Yes, he is a better songwriter than
Yes.
Kiss. I'll give you that.
So
So he's a
those
better
things.
songwriter, and better songwriters tend to make better albums, right?
Mm-hmm. They all kind of come together.
It kind of works in that manner. The
Do you think
guys
he's
with
a
the best
better
songwriters
performer?
Tend to make the best albums.
Who's the better performer?
Oh shit!
Kendrick's a great performer.
I'm not taking anybody over Kiss after that versus. That was. I don't think you understand.
I understand.
No, I don't think you understand.
I'm just trying to play
Eastern
both
Conference
sides.
Finals. That's Eastern Conference Finals, Game 7.
In the
I got
Garden.
55 points, 15 rebounds, and 8 assists on these bitches. You understand? It's Eastern Conference Finals, Game 7, 55, 15, and 8, with 3 steals and 2 blocks. I only had 2 fouls. I hit all my free throws.
Mad Max of the Super Chat says Jada smoked 2 legends in the verses. You don't be on Twitter and see how the kids are saying Jada smoked the guy in Fab, and then my generation in NY think he's top 5. Fab that my generation in NY think he's top 5. Yeah, I mean I can see that. Jay Short with the Super
55,
Chat says
15,
NYC wants to win. Where's the effort from the artist? No, Flex wants NY to win. That's why he's putting pressure on these artists. And I ain't mad at him. If I was in his
People apply
position,
pressure to him.
yeah. If I
good for him.
were in his position in Atlanta and my city was in that state that New York's in, I would be trying to get the battery in the back of all these Atlanta artists that I know could do better. Like, you know. So I'm not mad at Flex for doing that. But
Well,
Jada delivered, and we got to give Jada props for actually delivering, because I don't think Santana delivered. Did he?
Well, let's express, and this is what I mean about how truly great Jada is. Well, let's express who Jada really is in New York City. Jada really, in a lot of ways, is a man on an island alone. Because here's what Flex is used to, and he's used to this all at the same damn time as a DJ. He's used to, at the drop of a dime, being able to play Redman, any member of Wu-Tang Clan, Nas, Biggie, Jay-Z, Boot Camp Click, Mobb Deep, OC, J. Rule the Damager. Like literally in the early 90s at the drop of a fucking dime and spin all day. And really, when you look around and all the dust settles, it's like, well, who's the MC of that caliber in New York City? Not talking about Griselda because they're from upstate. In New York City, who's the MC? Big Pun is in that grouping as well. A Young Cameron is in that grouping as well. The Young DMX in that grouping. Like, who else? Nas and Jay and Big, of course. Like, who other than Jada is like those guys that I just named that Flex was used to playing when he was coming up in the early 90s? Who other than Kiss is like that?
They could give you that energy that we just heard on that record that we, I guess got today. Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
New York rapper most likely to keep it thorough. Jada Kiss.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like...
But, I mean, do we still
he's
not
pretty
go with the
fucking great,
whole...
'cause
The
no,
final
'cause-
exam
'cause-
is the album, though, Coop.
No,
It is what it
I'm
is.
just talking. No. I get that, but we need to start looking at the degree of difficulty that's going on. It's like he literally is a man on an island in a lot of ways. It's like in a place where it's like no. They usually have piles upon piles of guys that can do that. And this is what I'm saying, because there are piles and piles of guys that do that, it keeps the energy competitive. Who does he have to be to keep that energy competitive? No, he just has it, and that means something. It's
You're right.
internal.
You're right.
Like,
You're right.
Nas and Big had each other, Mike.
Yeah.
You understand that Big and Nas had each other?
Yeah, you're right. That does mean a lot.
Wu-Tang Clan had Boot Camp Click.
Somebody said in the chat that Jada raps the same on every song. You know what? This is what I will refute it with. I've never heard any MC who is able to rap the same and fit on every single thing he's on and sound natural like Jada, because I think it's
That's funny.
miraculous. Like even the
Hey,
Lil Jon song, Knocking Heads Off, it doesn't matter
yes,
who he's working with. His flow fits with any and everything. You never hear a record where you're like, yo, man, Jada don't sound good on that. He
because
sounds
he's
good
hip
on
hop,
everything
Mike.
and doesn't have to change it up. It's wild.
Start with straight shots and then pop bottles.
It's crazy, man.
But with the hood rats, then pop models. Where did you get that from? Ain't that from Put Your Hands Up?
Yeah.
Ain't that Jadakiss shit?
Mm-hmm.
Ain't that a Southern record? Ain't that look? You feel
That's
what
right.
I'm saying? So he fits everywhere. So it's like, well, guess what? When you're fundamentally sound, the flow fucking works everywhere.
He might be the most fundamentally sound MC ever, man.
Yes.
He's one of them.
As far as like hip hop, like on some real like rap shit, like on some straight up and down 16 bar, this is rap, hip hop shit, consists 25 years of it. 25 years of it.
Let me get to some of these super chats real quick because I do want to say something about that too. Well-versed
And it's
Sessions.
not like he doesn't have the punchlines or bar work, Mike.
Well,
the
we know he
punchlines
got
and
that.
bar work are absurd.
Well-versed Sessions with the super chat says Styles P has just as good of albums plus one classic. Eric Terrell with the super chat says in the 70s and 80s, MCs had limited skills and techniques, but better songs. But now rappers have all the skills and flow with no songs. Is hip hop an and one where it used to be an NBA? I like that correlation. That's very interesting. KD says, this is exactly why I don't like these kids. K-Dot is top 5 all-time hot takes. Put him on a song with Kiss or Prime Beanie Siegel, and he gets smoked.
You don't want to do that? No. Right. I agree with him. If you put a Prime, Kiss, and Siegel on the track with Kendrick is not walking out of there with the best verse.
He's not.
He's
007 says, Kiss the Game Goodbye, Last Kiss, Kiss of Death, plus legendary mixtape stuff. You don't talk about opinions of garbage albums. You're talking about cachet, honor legends appropriately. And oh yeah, then the verses. Yeah, I mean.
No, that's what I mean. See, the problem. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you the problem.
Yeah, I
with
wouldn't
Kiss
say
albums.
garbage.
Like,
albums.
no. This is the problem with Jadakiss's albums. Jadakiss's albums are always just good, and he is fucking phenomenal. And there is so much evidence of him being a phenomenon that we just want a phenomenal album that goes with literally the phenomenal guest verses that have charted, guest verses that have rang bells in the street, mixtape shit, guest appearance shit, like John Blaze with Fat Joe, New York with Ja Rule, All About the Benjamins. You feel what I'm saying? He's literally everywhere. He's literally everywhere.
In every era.
How many people got a joint with Mariah? How many niggas is walking around with bars with Mariah Carey and J-Lo? Who got Mariah Carey and J-Lo that can rap? Who? Like Nas and Kiss.
Yeah. Esquire says Kiss also doesn't have K-Dot's versatility flow-wise or content-wise. See Rigor Mortis for unique flow exhibition. I mean, listen, I'm with that too. Rigor Mortis is crazy. His flow is nowhere near where K-Dot's is.
Okay. So I
but
can say
subject matter too.
K-Dot's voice.
I think subject matter is a big thing too, though, Coop. And I think a lot of this comes together with song making and album making, and all these things are kind of comparable.
Hold on.
You know?
So listen to this. The songwriter that you are usually has to do with the content that you write, which usually makes the album that you make more well-rounded. Right. So these things, it's like these you know how a bounce. It's like how a bounce pass at the top of the key feeds a pick and pop. You feel what I'm saying? Well, these are fundamental things that you're taught. It's like, well, one thing leads into the other. No, I get that. I'm saying that it's like if you think that Kendrick is better than Kiss, the only way that you can go to it is go to the album mode. And so the album mode is the final. But what I'm telling you is that the final is only 30 to 40% of the grade. We need to talk about the other 50, 60%.
You know what Jadakiss is to me?
Like, Jadakiss's voice is like way better than Kendrick's voice. Like, why ain't anybody saying that? It's like, well, his voice is 10 times better than Kendrick's voice. Nobody's saying that.
This is what Jada is to me. When I think of like the park jams and the guys that would get on the mic when it's a crowd of people out there, Jada is that quintessential MC where, you know what I'm saying, that where the DJ's out here playing the break loops and the MC gets over the on the mic for everybody at the park and goes. And so I feel like a Jadakiss classic album looks like Paid in Full to me.
Yes.
Sonically and how the songs are structured, I could see Jadakiss making I Ain't No Joke. I could see Jadakiss making like that's not out of the realm of possibility. My
No,
melody,
it's not.
I could see Jadakiss making Eric B as president sonically.
But are you listening to what you are saying?
No, I know what I'm saying. I mean, obviously, I don't expect him to be Rakim. Rakim's a one of
No,
the
I
greatest
know.
MC
But
ever.
listen,
But I'm just talking about the approach. You know what
No,
I'm
see, but
saying?
listen. When you were saying that his approach is speaking to the fact of him being capable of not just making a top 5 rap album,
Yeah.
but arguably a top 5 rap album of all time.
I don't
What
think
does
he
that
could make an
say?
Illmatic. I don't think he could make a death
Right, I get what you're
certificate.
saying.
But yeah,
Content-wise, he doesn't have the capability and the dexterity to go certain places. But you're saying no.
if
He
you
can
just
do
get
paid
the
in full.
beats and rhymes, yeah, I think
Right,
that
beats and rhymes.
that's
Yeah.
the approach. And I would love if Swiss would take that approach to making the next Jada album. A record like this that we just heard on this flex could be on an album that takes that kind of approach.
So this is the problem. He always veers off from that. Like him and Swiss did this before with Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Don't shoot. I can't breathe. Remember that?
Yeah.
This is the same vibe. This that same I got New York on lock. Like I got you with that. No, I got you.
Don't try to make music for everybody. Do what you do well and double down on that shit.
And so that's the thing that he's never done.
Mm-hmm.
He's just never done double down on what he really does well. That's all he needs to do because I'm telling you, you know who he is?
Jada.
No, he's Jada. I got a great context for you. And you saw him live too. Nobody really understands that Charles Barkley is really the third best player from his era after Michael Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon because he didn't win a fucking ring. Nobody really understands that. But if you saw that guy play, you feel what I'm saying?
He was my second favorite player at that time.
I mean, go look at the numbers. The numbers say that he's actually the best power forward that ever played, especially if we're going off of height. Like he literally at his height has better rebounding numbers than Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett.
Insane. And he was 6'5", maybe.
Literally about 7 or 8 inches shorter than
I
these
think
guys.
they were giving him 6'5".
They were giving him 6'5". Him and Dwayne Wade are the same height. Wade's 6'4".
That's crazy.
So he's
Wade
literally
from the
he's
guard
literally about
position,
8 or 9 inches shorter than the guys that he's averaging more rebounds than. He was a better power forward than Karl Malone. He's a better forward than KG. Like all he needed was a ring. If he has a ring, it's a conversation about who the greatest power forward of all time is. That's who Kiss is. It's like you give him one classic album with everything else that he does. It's like no. That's not. You know how they talk about a 2010 guy? That's not a 2010 guy. That's a 25-15 guy.
You know what's also
on
unfortunate about Charles? My bad. You know what's also unfortunate about Charles Barkley? Statistically, he was the best player on the Dream Team, right? And
led
then
the team in points and rebounds.
Yeah, and on top of that, in the finals that he appeared in, he played his ass off, man. Like, you know what I mean? You would think the way people kind of frame it, that he went to the finals and, like, you know, stuck up the joint. That wasn't the case. He just was going against, of course, he was just going up against a guy who was averaging like 43 points in a 6-game series. You know, it just is what it is. The greatest player ever.
Listen what I'm saying. That was probably Scotty's best finals, and Charles Barkley was still the second best player on the floor.
Yeah.
You know, he told a story once about how he got home and his daughter asked him if he was going to win the championship, and he told his daughter, "I don't think Michael Jordan's going to let me."
He said, I know on Last Dance, he said that was the first time he ever felt like he wasn't the best player on the floor.
Because he wasn't. And he played awesome in that series.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he made that a series.
Yeah.
You understand that, right?
He did.
Like, you know, Scotty and Mike were on 10 in that series, and he made that a series.
Yeah.
It wasn't just Mike on 10 in that series. Scotty was on 10 in the 93 finals.
Their chemistry was on 10. Because, I mean, these guys have won They were on the
No,
road to winning 3 together, back to back to
no,
back. So
no,
yeah,
that was yeah.
yeah,
No, Scotty was on 10. See, here's the thing. Mike had peaked, pretty much from the moment Dean Smith let him go.
right,
But right, right.
right,
It's like, oh, I'm free, gone.
yeah,
But Scotty peaked that year as like the offensive side of him
yeah.
peaked that year.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it even
So
when Michael went and played baseball. He became possibly the best all-around player, outside of Akeem
that's
Olajuwon
not a team.
in the league. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even
He's the
count
best player in the
Akeem.
league.
Yeah. Nate,
No, he's the second best player in the league. He's the
yeah.
second best player in the league after Akeem. Because
Yeah.
Akeem could block 5 shots a game at the drop of a dime.
And still, maybe, get 4 steals a game, too.
Or 28 points and 14 rebounds to go with those 5
Will
blocks.
you see how many steals
Right.
You see how many steals he has from the center position? It's crazy.
How many blocks he has? He's still the blocks leader.
No one's going to catch him.
He's not even 7 feet tall.
Listen, no one's going to catch him. He's ahead in blocks by 600 blocks. And somebody brought up a point the other day when I saw a stat of the top block leaders. Again, if Bill Russell and if they were counting blocks in that day, maybe it'd be different. But where we're at right now, and people shooting basically as soon as they get over half court, no one's going to catch him. People don't go to the paint anymore to get blocked enough. Statistically, it's just not going to happen.
I mean, I told you, the best center that I ever saw play basketball was Akeem Olajuwon, not Shaq.
Me too. Nas the Goat with the super chat says, does Kiss make a top 10 all-time in New York? What say you?
Shit, that's not even a question. It's a question if he's top 10 all time, period. He's top 10 New York easy.
So you got him over Method Man.
Okay, so
we're gonna start naming some names because I'm thinking of some off top. You got him over Method Man.
No. Let's just go through the list of the people that he's not ahead of. That's Rakim. That's Nas. That's Jay. That's Big. KRS. Ghost.
Okay.
Right?
That's 6.
That's 6, right?
Big Daddy Kane. What about him?
No, he's got Kane.
He's got Kane. Okay. What about Cool G Rap?
He's got G Rap too. Because here's the thing.
What about LL Cool J?
I want to hear some evidence. I want to know about this. The Ripper
Don't do that. No. What about LL, man?
Hold on, Mike. What do we hold LL high for?
Hit records and battle and longevity
and songwriting. So the songwriting and the battle shit is so we're just gonna be on pause.
As everything is right now.
Is he better than Prodigy? How about this?
I was gonna go Prodigy next.
See, now here's my problem. Where's Prodigy's solo classic stuff? Because we flack Black Thought for not having the solo classic stuff. But I think that's just because Mobb Deep's best albums are better than the Roof's best albums.
And we've also heard classic stuff like Keep It Thorough. We've also heard The First Quiet Storm. We know that Prodigy can hold down a classic record.
I mean, essentially, lyrically, he has held down classics because the infamous Hell on Earth and Murder Music is classic lyrically because of Prodigy.
Yeah.
On Murder Music, a lot of it has to do with the guest appearances, too, because that's the first time he had help. But lyrically, the infamous and Hell on Earth are classic lyrically because of Prodigy. I think Trife Life 2 on Hell on Earth is Havoc's best lyrical performance on the second and third album, because Juvenile Hell would be the first album. So, of their classic stuff, his best thing is Trife Life, or More Trife Life, I think is what it's called. Track 5 on Hell on Earth 2. That was when Havoc kind of poked his head out. The lyrical work is Prodigy. But I could say the same thing about Black Thought on Illadelph and on Things Fall Apart.
So is he better than Prodigy?
Huh?
Is he better than Prodigy? Is Jada better?
I couldn't hear you. Ask me again. I couldn't. What?
Is Jadakiss better than Prodigy?
What? I'm sorry. I can't hear you. I can't say that. My heart won't let me say that.
Ray Ram said, I strongly believe Jadakiss should be elevated on everybody's all-time list due to what he did during the verses. Do you brothers agree?
I was about to say. Listen to what I'm about to say. As much as I love P, and as much as I'd like to put him ahead, what Jadakiss did in that versus Prodigy would not do.
I got to put Jada ahead. I'm sorry. I can't put Jada ahead of LL Cool J. I can't do that. So by my count, I got 7 right there.
So I got 7. So we'll still take L because we don't have any evidence. So we got 7 on my side too because I had Ghost, right?
Yep, yeah. You said Ghost, and then we got
Okay,
LL.
so you got Kiss ahead of Ray. Is Kiss better than Ray? I think that's the real convo.
I was going to ask you about
because the Purple Tape is not just a great album. That's an arguable top 5 all-time rap album. And this is the guy that starts
Kiss ain't
off
better than Ray. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Me neither, because it's like that's the guy that starts off Cream.
And I'm starting to think about all the Wu-Tang records and stuff. I can't do it.
Right.
So that's 8.
So,
what about Method Man? Method Man's better than Kiss to me. I'm just saying.
And there we have it. And so he's at 10.
That's 9. No. Hold up. All right, that's 9 right there. I'll think of somebody in a second. Let me get to these super chats. Jay
You
Short
don't have
says,
anybody else after that. You have nobody else after that. I've checked.
I think I might. Jay Short says,
we named all the guys. We got 3 Wu-Tang Clan members in the top 10 New York MCs of all time. You understand who Wu-Tang Clan is?
It's incredible.
If you want beef.
What about Mos Def?
See, they should write that in books. If you want beef, then bring the ruckus. Cause
Jay Short with the super chat says, no disrespect
not Mos
to
Def.
Jada.
What the hell are you smoking, Mike? Where?
Where's
the evidence?
I think we got a delay. Jay Short says, no disrespect to Jada, but who is the younger guy in NYC who could take the crown back? New York needs new energy. Stars like Kendrick Lamar was for LA. That's Melvin Wright with the super chat says, Jada has everything except albums. And Iglesias is his best overall work, and that still fell short. And also Game's album is about a 3. Jay Short says the second half of Kiss, The Game Goodbye, was brutal. In a positive way, or?
No, he didn't mean that in a good way. I know what he's talking
about. 007 says Jada is.
Because look, hold on. Pull up Kiss the Game Goodbye right quick. I'm gonna
let me get to these super chats while you do that. 007 says Jada is the demigod of New York, one step below the big 3.
Yeah.
LP says Jada is a great rapper, no depth. What do we know about him outside of where he's from and who his friends are? He's a great 16 though. Okay. Mad Max to the super chat says, LOL, I met K-Dot has better albums, but Jada got more classic songs. When's the last time K-Dot was on a record like I don't like? That's Jada's last one. See, Ant Lauren says, I think Styles P has better albums. I think he does too.
No, Styles has better albums, but outside of Styles' albums, where's Styles better than Kiss?
Mad Max says, Coop, we all know Barkley's third behind MJ and Hakeem.
Nobody feels that way.
But he says,
y'all be talking about Karl Malone and David Robinson. Might be up here playing David Robinson.
David Robinson was great.
Not better than Barkley.
It said Barkley is behind Duncan and Giannis.
First of all, when did Giannis get so high up on this list?
Is Giannis a power forward? I guess
the hell is he?
Sometimes. Esquire says, you know what?
This is that to me. He's a center, isn't he?
This is what I would say to your Duncan and Giannis thing. I've always looked at Duncan and Giannis too as guys who are oversized power forwards that are afraid to play center. I hate to say it like that. And I love Duncan. But I think that Duncan, from a physical standpoint, same thing with Giannis. He should be a center, really.
He's a center.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Right.
But when you get moved down to power forward, yeah, you're going to dominate other power forwards because you're a fucking center.
Right. When Kevin Durant is playing, when Kevin Durant is a real small forward, is guarding you, and you're really a center.
Exactly.
But because y'all are like close in height, and you're still an inch taller than him, which means you're like 7'1".
And that's why I give David Robinson so many props. Like, David Robinson's a real center. Yeah, he got dunked on by Shaq because he is playing the position.
Because he guards.
Yeah, because you're guarding somebody as massive as that. Tim Duncan would not go out there and post up with Shaq. He wouldn't. No,
he did, Mike, every time he got abused. Abused.
Because you're undersized.
You know, there was an All-Star game footage one time of him and Kevin Garnett like arguing about who had to guard Shaq when Shaq moved back to the Eastern Conference. Like, who's guarding? It's like,
yeah, because neither one of you guys want to do that center business.
Not even in the All-Star game. You understand that they didn't want to guard him in the All-Star game. He's like, oh fuck, like, are we gonna take turns? Like, what we?
Right. Esquire
what
with the
we
super
doing?
chat
This is
says,
Kevin Garnett and Tim Duncan talking about Shaq.
and
This
this
isn't
is the
young Shaq. This
Miami
is
Heat
old
Shaq.
Shaq.
This is
This is
Miami
Miami
Heat
Shaq.
Shaq.
This is 20 and 10 Shaq, not
Yeah.
30 and 15 Shaq.
Yeah.
20 and 10 Shaq, they're like, oh, I don't want to go.
Esquire with the super chat says, Coop, it seems that you place premium on technical rhymes. With that in mind, not accounting for catalog, what makes Ghostface better than Cole, bar for bar?
Bar for bar? He might not be bar for bar better, but he's literally better at everything else.
I feel Ghost more, but that's just me. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's what I mean. Like where you want to go? You want to go to the soulfulness of it? Do you want to go to the song making of it?
Yeah.
No, listen. Do you want to go to the soulfulness? Do you want to go to the song making? Do you want to go to the album making? Do you want to go to the voice? Do you want to go to the delivery?
Yeah.
Do you want to go to the classic song?
The storytelling.
Like where you want to go? Where you want to go?
Yeah, because I think Cole has great storytelling ability, but he ain't got All That I Got Is You. Where's his All That I Got Is You? If we want to go there.
I mean, Ghost got a gang of stories, Mike.
He has a gang of heartfelt music. Like, you know about, the muscular dystrophy and all this stuff. What do we know about artists for real? Since people want to talk about, Jada and what we know about him, like, these guys really let you in. Melvin Wright with the super chat says, Coop, cut it out. Definitely not better than G-Rap.
Where's G-Rap better, though? It's like, I know G-Rap is lyrically better than Kiss. But outside of being lyrically better, where?
Darren Harris says HNIC wasn't a classic? ? I don't think so. That's just me, though. You a huge P fan, and you say HNIC wasn't a classic. Ethan Hill with the super chat really says, don't forget about Pharoah Monch, Buckshot, Guru. Jadakiss better than Guru.
Yes.
Okay. Unknown
Don't
name
listen
says
right where you stand.
Unknown name says Prodigy solo albums are better than Jada's. Is that the tiebreaker?
Prodigy solo albums are better. See, this is what I'm saying. Like, so Kiss is just winning one of those, what I like to call longevity conversations too, where he's literally just been consistent. Listen to how we're talking about a record that this man probably just made in the last week or two. It's 2022, Mike.
He might have made that shit like yesterday.
No. Listen to what I'm saying, though. We've been listening to Kiss since 1996 on mixtapes.
Yeah.
The Lock's first album came out in 1997. He sounds like this in 2022. No, all the other guys that I have ahead of him don't have that.
That's a fair point. 007 with the super chat.
You got to be special to beat Kiss. So you literally need to be Nas, Rakim, Biggie, KRS, Jay, or come out of Wu-Tang Clan. Because Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
007 with the super chat says, Kiss got Prodigy. His verbiage and creativity is where the scale tips. He's also better than LL. Hand those two mics and ask him to spit. LL can't win. LL's catalog is just so crazy, though.
It is.
Eric Terrell with the super chat says 50 Q-Tip. Busta Rhymes is one that
Busta's not better than Kiss.
Okay, I want to get to that. Chuck D, Lil Kim, Run, Keith Murray. Okay, why do you say
either? I can't go.
Why do you say that Busta's not better than Kiss?
25 years at this level. Like, show me where the drop off. No. Listen to what I'm saying. Show me where the drop off has been. This is like an NBA player averaging 20 points a game for 25 years. It's damn near LeBron-like.
Is it?
When has he been bad?
He hasn't been bad, but when has he been dominating for 25 years? I don't know. This is what I will say, and I think that Busta's peak in the 90s really eclipses what he's done in the 2000s. But Busta got hits, man, and Busta has standout. I mean, I think we all will agree that even when it comes to the feature game, Busta's like one of the first people you mentioned. Mad Max with the super chat says Kiss is not better than LL.
Is his feature game end to end better than Kiss's though? Is it really?
End to end, you know what? In the 90s, yes. Early 2000s,
That's why I just
probably
brought up
so.
that it's
Today,
2022.
right now, no. But if we want to talk about the first 2 decades, yes,
You want to know what the Buster conversation is exciting.
it is. Mad Max in the super chat
Buster
says,
conversation is exciting.
he says, Kiss is not better than LL. Let's not be ridiculous. Kiss is debatable with Kane and G Rap. Don't just
Okay,
brush them off. Kane versus performance was crazy. Yeah, Kane's performance is ridiculous. This is what
okay.
I'll
Who
say
had the
about
more
Buster
memorable
too.
versus performance though, and who was victorious in their verses?
Busta has way better albums than Jadakiss. Can we say that?
I'll give you that. See,
It's
there's just there's something to be said for the guy that shows up to work and always does what they're supposed to do. And think about how
yeah,
high the expectations are for this guy. It's not like we expect him to do bad. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well Versed Session says Jada is a singles and features king. No album. I mean, you guys are harsh. But hey,
You are like what's the problem? This is what I mean. You see, you understand if he had one classic album, like one, if he had
but you
one
know what?
classic
Like you
album,
said, this is like the Barkley thing. This is how people talk about rings in
right?
basketball specifically, because that's a sport where one or two individuals can change the trajectory of
Right.
everything. But yeah, if you don't have a ring, people act like you were just trash. So that's why guys like KD will say, you know what? Let me go join this
Go to
super
Golden
team
State.
so y'all
Do you see
can't
how they?
sit here and say I ain't never win shit. And then he
Okay,
did.
so
And that's why guys would go out there and get an album full of well-known, you know what I'm saying, already pretty much plug and play type of albums and not take risks because they want to make a classic because people are holding
right,
this over their head.
right.
KD with the super chat, speaking of KD, said Ghost is better than J. Cole in almost every way except for the technical flow Cole can do. What's Cole's Iron Man? What's Cole's Supreme Clientele? Yeah, the Ghostface fans
Bulletproof
gonna
fish
kill you
scale.
for
That's
that.
what I'm saying. Ugh.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
What were
oh.
you saying, Cooper? I interrupted you, man. I was trying to get to these super chats.
No, you're all good. I'm just going through these lists of New York MCs, and it's like Nas, Rakim, Biggie, KRS, Jay, Meth, Raekwon, Ghost, LL, Jadakiss, Busta Rhymes, Cool G Rap, Kane. Are we solidified on those? Is that the core? Is that the core?
Off the top of my head, did you say Method Man?
Yeah, Meth is in there. I got Meth, Ray, and Ghost right next to each
Okay,
other. Wu
gotcha.
Tang Clan.
How many
I
people
got,
was that?
I
That's
got, I
like
got, I
12?
got, I got the traditional five, which is Rakim and KRS, and then Nas, Big and J,
Uh-huh.
and then I got Wu Tang Clan, Meth, Ray, and Ghost.
Gotcha.
And then I got LL. Then I got Kiss, Busta, G Rap, Kane. Is Slick Rick right there too? Is that where we're
I
going?
love Slick Rick.
Yep.
Slick Rick. Well
So
Versed
that would
Session
be. I think
says,
that's the 15, right? Is that fair? Is that New York's 15?
I feel like I'm missing somebody. You know how when you leave a house and you feel like that you forgot to do something or you left something at the crib? I'm sure the people in the chat are going to tell us. Well Versed Session says J. Cole could never make Shay Shay Lagos. Now, that's a good point.
We're 14 in, so we might be missing somebody from our top 15. You might be right. So we got LL, Kane, G Rap, Nas, Rakim, all the guys I care about are here.
Esquire with the super chat says, for the record, I rank Ghost higher than Cole all time overall. I just asked Bar for bar question to challenge Coop on his Kiss K-Dot comparison. Makes sense. And I love the challenges. Speaking of the challenges, man, our Monday interaction with you guys on Patreon, like, sign up for that. We're gonna be interacting with people. We're gonna be getting people into these conversations. So, like, if Esquire wants to argue that point with Coop, I will click him in, and y'all just go for it. And if y'all want to argue with me about Jack Harlow and Eminem, I'll click in and talk about it. The Raisin Head with the super chat says, Ghost's gift is to make surface gibberish sound good. Oh, you sound disrespectful, though. LP says, Q-Tip is better than Kiss. Miss me with the techniques. Now, I'm with you on that.
What'd he say?
Q-Tip.
Is Q-Tip our 15?
Listen, I'm picking Q-Tip over Kiss. That's just me. But, you know, if we're being fair, what Kiss has done in his career, in the end, it's hard to refute, man. He's a bars guy. Now, if I need a song to be made, I'm going to Q-Tip. If I need some bars to be spit, I'm going to Jada. Man says Kiss can't shine LL's shoes, nor Buster, nor Redman. Redman is Jersey,
Red
but
Man's Jersey.
yes. JB was here, says clarify better versus greater. Buster is greater than Kiss. Yeah, clarify that.
What does greater mean? Like, I mean, he makes.
I guess
greater
all-time accomplishments. That's kind of what I
Oh,
see.
he's more accomplished. Oh, he's more accomplished. Yeah, so Aaron Rodgers is more accomplished technically than Tom Brady outside of Super Bowl wins. Like the touchdown to interception ratio is better. The average pass yards per game is better. The MVP awards are better. It's 4-3. You feel what I'm saying? Like his accomplishments technically in the regular season are better, except for
Well, I think talent can make you better, but I
Right.
think that the overall career makes you greater. Because even in that example, I would say Tom Brady's the greater quarterback. Now, if somebody wanted to say based on physical gifts and just eye test shit, they feel like Aaron Rodgers is better. I mean, I get it.
But
I
no,
disagree,
listen.
but
No, but listen to what I'm about to tell you is that personally, it's a team game, but personally, Aaron Rodgers at a younger age is more accomplished than Tom Brady technically in terms of being awarded at his specific position for the sport that he plays, because a Super Bowl win is a team game. And so if we're talking about individual accomplishments, Aaron Rodgers has actually made the all-pro team, first team, more than Tom Brady in less time. That makes him more accomplished personally at what they do. But in a scheme of a team thing, Tom Brady is the greater player, actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
007 with the super chat says, I'll end this right here. Life is on the line, and you need a hot 16. Who are you going to go to from NY? Kiss will be in your top 5, not LL, Kane. Stop it. I mean, that's real. If I need a hot 16 in any era, Kiss might be at the top of my list. He's up there.
He should be. None of these other guys have pumped like New York Heat out for 25 straight years. Like none of them.
Eric Terrell says, Busta has songs with Mary, Janet, and Mariah. Cool. Yeah, we need to see Busta in the verses.
Okay.
Mad Max
That's
in the
funny.
super chat
But
says,
I said Mariah and J-Lo.
Busta ain't got a song with J-Lo. Well, listen, Jada ain't got a song with
What's
Janet.
Nas and Kiss last time I checked?
Jada or Nas don't have a song with Janet. I think that's fair to say. And we just got through singing Janet's praises Wednesday. So Janet, J-Lo is nowhere near Janet. Shit.
Janet's an icon.
J-Lo is literally Janet's background dancer.
This is true.
Literally.
But I'm speaking to something different when I'm talking about the ability for a hardcore New York MC.
Yeah, I know.
People say, like, think about who Kiss is. But he got a joint with Mariah and J-Lo. See, when I tell you Nas or Buster, it doesn't surprise you. Kiss is at that level.
I feel you.
Right.
Mad Max of the Super Chat says, I agree, Kiss not being LL, but you're bugging with the Redman, Buster, and Meth. Those dudes ain't Kiss. Kiss is the greatest weapon on the track in history. You add Pete Kiss on the record, it's gonna go classic immediately. Wow. You know, see, that's what happens when you're consistent. The younger generation's gonna rock with you.
That's
because
what I'm saying.
You see it up close and in person.
You have to understand that there are people right now that are watching this that know who Kiss are. They know nothing about Slick Rick or Kane or G-Rap.
Yeah.
Or Rakim or KRS or even Meth and Ray to a degree and LL to a degree, because those guys have not for 25 straight years done what Kiss has done. He's always here. He was just on Black Illuminati last year. The Lox just dropped the best album of their career the year before that. He just smashed everybody in the verse. He just smashed everything in the verses. Over the Who Shot You. Of all the things, of all the hip-hop things to do. Do you know how...
In the Garden.
Like, that's going down in a time capsule. Like, one day, when Asai is my age, and I'm like 65, I'm going to be like... And she's going to ask me, be like, what was one of the most fun things that you covered? Be like, man, Jada Kiss in the Garden on the versus side.
You know, he really took
where the Who Shot You beat came on, and we all knew that they were about to be bodies.
I knew what was about to happen.
We all knew. When the beat dropped, we knew what was going on, didn't we?
Yeah.
Which of these other guys does that? After they've been in the game for over 2 decades. Yeah, you're right. Like, we were all afraid. It was like, this is over.
I think if we all could deduce the verses, just all the verses that we've had, I think if you poll people and ask people what was the greatest moment in versus history,
that's it.
They're going to say that moment.
Mike, it's one of the greatest moments in rap history. It really is, because it's what rap is about.
Yeah.
It's about what rap is about. He's like, no, ain't no fucking backgrounds, ain't no ad-libs. Drop the Biggie beat.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Darius Campbell. Right.
We in the garden? He like, we in the garden, right? Oh, he on 55-15 with 8 rebounds. 55 points, 15 rebounds. I'm sorry, 55 points, 15 rebounds, 8 assists, 4 blocks, 3 steals, 2 fouls, hit all his free throws.
Crazy.
Game 7, Eastern Conference Finals.
Darius Campbell with the super chat says, did Cameron fail to live up to the hype? I think Cameron's an overachiever, in my opinion.
55-15.
What do you think about that? Do you think Cameron failed to live up to the hype? I've never heard that notion.
No, you see, you have to understand there are some guys that it does not. That's why I keep telling you he's top 10. No. Regular guys can't do that.
Ooh, what about DMX?
That's top 10 shit.
What about DMX?
That's top 10. That's top 10 shit. Mike, who else walking into the garden and doing that on this list?
What about DMX?
Oh.
Nas the GOAT says, how come y'all don't mention DMX?
No, he's right. I to be honest with you, I would take one of the older guys out of this list and put DMX in, truthfully. Or I would take Meth or Ray out. I would take Meth out, maybe.
KD says, Busta has a song with Rick James. This is true. Busta's versatility is insane. Ethan Hill with the super chat says, Pharoah Monch should be in your top 15.
Oh, no. That's not that.
LP says, Fab, Pap, Cass, can all give you a 16. Not enough. You know, speaking
not
to
like
the Pharoah Monch
they don't
thing,
have the voice.
Speaking to the Pharoah Monch thing, and I've always loved Pharoah Monch material, I'm going to probably go more of a Mos Def and even Sean Price direction before I go there. But that's
Mos.
Yeah. Mad Max to the super chat says, except Aaron Rodgers plays like a girl in the playoffs. Son was scared to throw to Sherman, who was covered with one arm, missed me with Sharon. Oh man, not the Sharon Rodgers reference.
We are ruthless up in here today.
Right. JB was here, says kisses Carmelo. I've gone through my Carmelo theories. I think that Carmelo's career was sabotaged from the jump. Carmelo should have been an instant NBA champion.
Better than Carmelo. I'm sorry. Is Carmelo a top 10 small forward all time?
He should be.
I didn't ask you that.
He was put in a bad situation. He was put in a bad situation.
I didn't ask you what he should be. I asked you what he was.
I think he might be.
Because look at this. We're already Dr. J, Larry Bird, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard in. And that's no Dominique. That's no George Gervin.
I love Dominique. I'm from the A, man. I think he's better than Dominique.
Oh, is that what you think? You're a traitor. I'll never say that live. You're a traitor. I'll never say that live on here. I'll never say that live.
I'm trying to be honest, man. I love Dominique, man.
You
Dominique
love some Paul George, I bet, too. I'll never say that live on here. Give me Dominique and Grant.
No. Paul George ain't better than Dominique. Fuck that. I'm not saying that. Eric Terrell with the super chat says, LL had J-Lo with him at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame show. Yes, he did. He did. J-Lo presented along with Dr. Dre and Eminem.
I think LL has a J-Lo record, I believe.
He does, yeah. That All I Got Is All I Have record.
Right.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Man, we got a few things to get to because we spent a lot of time on that and I didn't even realize we were going to do that. Today would have been Nate Dogg's birthday. So, off top, man, what are some of your favorite Nate Dogg appearances? I know you said you were going to do a top 5. But
I was having trouble doing the top 5 because it's all everywhere, all over the place. So I think Regulate has to make the list because it's just.
Of course it does. Regulate is the only song probably in hip hop history where the R&B guy comes and saves the rapper from danger. The R&B guy comes in there and starts, busting shots to get the rapper out of a fix.
You're right.
That never happens.
The singer's the gangster.
The singer pulled up and laid all them busters down, man. LP with the super chat said, yeah, the rapper was getting hemmed up, man. And then the singer pulled in like, yo,
okay,
get this going. It's a creative record too, by the way.
It was.
LP with the super chat says Mello got them 16 bar games with no chips. Y'all gonna get off my man Mello, man. But look, my favorite Nate Dogg appearance personally was on Corrupt's album, The Streets Is a Mother.
Streets Is a Mother.
When he was on Never Gonna Give It Up.
So
I love that
verse. Say. My favorite Nate Dogg appearance is These Nuts off the Chronic.
I can't be faded.
That's still my favorite. There's other classics like.
What about Explosive?
About to say, Mike, Explosive, Ain't No Fun, Area Codes.
You like the area codes like that?
I just thought that. How about this? I don't like that record at all without him.
That's true. He made that record.
I don't like that record at all without him. 404, 313, 212, 212, 212. Like, what the fuck? Like, what fuck we doing? Get to the hook. I got hoes.
Not the abominable hoe man.
Yeah. Get to the hook. Get to the hook.
I said small cities and states, IOUs. Non-plus of the super chat says, Nas has a new fire verse on "Am a Banger" song, Bigger. Okay, gotta check that out. Melvin Wright with the super chat says, Regulate, Endo Smoke, These Nuts, I Don't Like the Dream, Lay Low. Another one I loved was
Lay Low.
Lay Low was cool. I was gonna say the Warren G remix. The Game Don't Wait. Love that record.
You want to know what else dope? The Fab joint.
No, now that's a record that wouldn't have been made without Nate Dogg.
That record's not alive without Nate either. Yeah. Nate don't breathe life into a lot of records. I mean, and I don't care what anybody says. Ain't No Fun and Explosive, as classic as they are. Like those are potential all-time great records without Nate. But with Nate, it's like some of the best West Coast gangsta shit ever.
He's super important, man.
Super
important. I mean, I think there's been a void in the hook game of hip hop since he's been gone. I think T-Pain took on that little hook run for a second, but T-Pain.
Yeah, I like Anderson .Paak's diversity because even though Nate had like that G-Funk rhythm like kind of style to him, you could take it anywhere. Look at the Fab record. Look at the Lay Low record. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could look at Area Codes. It's like, no. It worked everywhere with everybody.
Well, who do you wish that you could have heard Nate?
Like, you want to know what I wish? It's like, I wish we could have got, like, Nate. See, I think, that's like, different. I'd be like, go ahead.
I was going to ask you, who do you wish we could have had Nate Dogg do a record with?
So, I would have liked to have heard Nate Dogg with, like, Scarface or Ghostface. Like, somebody, like, different, like, on one of their, like, deeper stories or songs, singing a hook. Like, he was always, like, the feel-good hook guy. It would have been interesting.
Like a little ghetto boy type thing.
Right.
Is he on that hook, or is that just the sample?
No, it's the sample.
Okay. Yeah, because they got him acting like he's singing it, and I'm like, nah, that sounds like the original. Great record. LP says, y'all got to stop, LOL. He still watched T.I. I mean, no one said anything about Luda. We was just repeating the lyrics from the song. Jay Short says, what do y'all think about the classic album missing from streaming? A lot of the Faces albums aren't online. Being out of print definitely hurt Rick James' legacy.
No, you want to know what hurt his legacy? Not releasing Cold Blooded as a single and making a video to it. Like, Cold Blooded doesn't have a video? How can you not have a video to Cold Blooded?
It's crazy, right? Sexy.
It's one of the best songs ever.
Ant Learn says Nate Dogg's hook on "I'm Fly" was fire. Yo, what was that hook that he did for G Unit? That damn, it was the Mobb Deep. Hey, go ahead and talk the body if you want to.
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name of the song.
21 Questions. Yeah, man, he got
21 Questions. That's what I mean. You can take Nate anywhere.
I like him on Bitch Please too. Somebody said something on Bitch Please.
Oh, you want to know what?
Yeah.
Bitch Please.
Has he ever? Well, you know what? Let's do another one. Till I what is it? Till I Collapse.
Is that him?
Am I allowed to say that?
Is that him on Till I Collapse?
Yeah. To the river. Yeah, that's him. Nate Dogg's everywhere. Hold on, I feel like I'm missing a super chat here. They're coming so fast now. Okay, we got KC1 says, why does everybody ignore all the dudes Jay-Z is dropped? He's not and never will be ahead of Rakim. Where did that come from? What are y'all talking about in the chat? So yeah, those are some of my favorite Nate Dogg features, man.
Yeah, Nate was great, man. You know, I mean, he really did actually this is what's so beautiful about hip hop. It's like, you know, it's kind of like a chessboard in the sense that it's like, well, all the pieces on the board have different sets of value, but they all kind of matter one and the same in terms of making the game work. And he's a very valuable piece that made the game work, you know?
Definitely. LP with the super chat says, Nate on Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe. What song y'all think would be getting better placed on that would be better with him on it? Okay, especially with the R&B going street. Yeah, what song do you think that he could have just fit right in on? I don't know if I could have heard him on Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, though.
Yeah, I don't know if that works for his flow. Well, that's actually a very interesting question. You want to know what? That's one of the that's a Patreon show question where we can like think of some songs and play some music.
Yeah. Jay Stone with the super chat says Nate with Mos Def and Pharoah Monch on Oh No. I like them on this too.
That's what I mean. Think about it. Take them everywhere. Think about all these songs we're naming.
This dude could go out there and do a versus.
Yeah.
JB
he has
was
versus
here.
material.
JB was here. Says nah with E40.
Ooh. All About You. Every other city we go.
Of course.
I
like that record that he did with Ghostface too.
That's top 5 for me because think about it. The younger think about it. Kids 20 years younger than us, when we sing that, they know the words to that.
Yeah.
Every other city we go, every other thing, it's all about. No matter where I go, I see. No, that's top 5
I was
for me.
when I first heard that.
Hold on. So I'll take Regulate. I'll take All About You. These Nuts. Ain't No Fun.
That's an important record.
And Explosive. Those are my 5.
Good 5. 007 says Have a Party, Nate Dogg and Mobb Deep. I want to get to this producer conversation that we was having. Real quick though. I do want to get to our sponsors. We got Relax and Relief CBD, promo code A2HH, 10% off. But what I want to do today, man, and make sure y'all go to the website, get your joints. We got the samples in. So
we did.
I got some gummies here, and I told my man Lenny over there, I was like, you know what? Oh, you got yours too? Do we have the same one?
What is yours? Is yours the Create?
Mine is Energy. Mine is the orange joints.
Okay, mine is the Crisp Apple. So let me tell you what. How did you feel about this?
Oh no, man! When I took this, man, I was chilled, man. Like I was literally on the bed, and Baby Boy, the movie was on BET or one of these networks. I think it was VH1, and I was just sitting there, like watching it, and I was noticing a lot of stuff in the movie that I'd never seen before. It's a really bad movie, by the way, but yes, I felt good though.
No, the movie's terrible. So yeah, the movie's terrible. You definitely were on something because there's no way that you sat.
I sat there and watched Baby Boy probably for the first time since it came out because I took one of these.
How about this? Baby Boy is one of those movies that we didn't understand how far we had not come with our script writing around the time the Baby Boy got made. That's all due respect. All due respect.
All due respect. I mean, yeah.
All
Everything's
due
not
respect.
gonna be the Titanic.
So yours kind of put you down a little bit. So I'm gonna tell you what mine did. Mine kind of pepped me up a little bit, and I'm glad that it did. So I'm gonna be honest and be a little bit forthright and tell people like I suffer with depression and I suffer with anxiety. Okay. And so there are two products that I kind of want to go over, but this was my upper was the Nemo. Now mine was Create, and so this one was actually a refresher that gives you mental clarity, creative boost, mindfulness, and a refreshing feeling. And so, sometimes my anxiety gets the best of me. And so what I have right here is the Delta 8 Blackberry Kush. This is a 2-gram console. It's super small and quaint, like can hold it in the palm of my hand. So this is what I like to call my downer when I'm having like my anxiety. But this thing is literally so potent that when I first tried it last night, the 2 hits of it took me too far down. Like I still had stuff to do, Mike. And I was like, hold on. I was like, I need to get back up, enter
Boom.
this. And so it works because this took me down and this took me back up. And I actually repeated these steps this morning before work and the same thing happened. So the effects, and it's real. And,
Well, look,
just
I'm
be
gonna
honest
go
with
ahead and
people.
take one.
I put almost everything in my body except for heroin. If it works for me, no. It works for you. And if it doesn't work for you, you need to put yourself in some sort of treatment facility straight up and down.
Well,
right?
They actually have and I'll put it up in the community section. They got an event coming up in Atlanta this weekend, and Big Gip's going to be there and all that stuff since he has, his CBD and everything that he's working with his company. So we'll make sure we put that in the community section. I'm gonna go ahead and take this. We'll get back to the show.
Now listen to what I want to say about this
ahead.
before we wrap up, because I mean this. This is 2 grams as opposed to 1, so the staying power on it is longer, but also 2 for my actual nicotine smokers. I mean, Mike, you know this. I'm going about 120 days now that I've been totally nicotine free. This is also a good alternative for those of us that have mouth affixations, hand affixations, anxiety issues. I've already grabbed it a couple times during the show because when I realized it worked for me, I was like, oh, cool. I can use this now on the show instead of blacking out on mic and about 1,000 people live.
Jay Short with the super chat says nobody does it better.
And people need to understand this too. People have been like, Coop be going off on people. It's like, y'all understand it's like I just quit a big whole nicotine addiction, like live on camera the last 4 months. It's like that. Yeah.
No, major accomplishment.
Without a patch or like any of that, stuff. And I'm gonna have a gummy on that note too.
Well, there it is. And yes, Relax Relief. Shout out to the people over there. Promo code A2HH, 10% off. Just tell them we sent you, man. You know what I mean? Okay. I want to talk because let's talk about this producer thing, man.
Let's get it in.
Because, trap music, T.I.'s sophomore album, and we're going to talk about a little bit of that, hopefully, in the course of the conversation, too. It turned 19 years old today, and I was listening to the album, and, sonically, obviously, certain things age better than others, whatever. And I've always thought Doing My Job is a special record, and that was produced by Kanye West. And I listened to the rest of the album. Love the album. I think trap music is a classic. I think it did certain things for the city that a lot of people don't see outside of the city, but we'll get to that in a second. But just where he was going perspective-wise on that record in relation to most of the other records on there, because he had some other records where he was digging in. But I feel like Kanye's MO as a producer from day one, this is 2003, right? Yeah. From day one, he pulled things out of artists introspectively and pulling a level of vulnerability out of artists that other producers aren't able to get out of those same artists and just artists of that kind. I think in the previous show we talked about Dr. Dre's style and why he's able to take on new artists and basically mold them around him. I kind of mirrored him to Coach K might have been inaccurate in that, but just being a system-oriented
I get,
person,
I get what
where
you were saying, though.
yeah,
I got
where
what you were saying. You were trying
yeah,
to give praise, actually.
yeah. He's a
Yeah.
system-oriented guy where Kanye's able to kind of meet you where you're at, and everything that people say in the comments and all that, people are like, okay, well, y'all don't know the difference between a producer, beat maker, this, that, and the third. Well, I wanted to ask today, what do we look for in a hip hop producer, and why do we minimize the role of people being a beat maker as opposed to being a producer? What in hip hop culture specifically, what makes a producer over a beat maker?
Okay, so I think we have the opportunity to unpack some things because when you made that comment, I immediately thought about NBA coaches when you originally made the comment. I immediately thought about NBA coaches when you made it. And you're not totally
Dr.
wrong.
Dre's a college coach. You're right. You're right. Dr. Dre operates as a college coach as
No,
opposed
listen
to
to
an
what
NBA coach.
So what I want to do is okay, who do you think are the 5 best coaches ever in basketball, pro or college?
Whew,
I think
man,
Coach K is in that conversation.
definitely. I mean, I think you have to, based on. Let's just do it on based on who we've seen, right? Because I didn't see Red Auerbach. I
Right.
didn't. I've always been impressed with Larry Brown. I've always
Me
been
too.
impressed with Greg Popovich. I've always, it is what it is. Phil Jackson is who he is. Like
Okay.
you can't skip him over. I've always, thought Chuck Daly was a great coach, and I've always thought Pat Riley was a great coach too, in the sense of how he's able to motivate these guys. Even
Okay.
seeing what Pat Riley was able to do with a very offensively challenged Knicks team.
Okay. So everybody that I was writing on my list while you were talking, you were saying all of their names, and I was literally typing all of those people down because I agree with you, except for Chuck Daly, and Chuck Daly gets understated and underrated. He is the head coach of the '92 Dream Team, and for a reason.
For a reason.
So, but I would still put him outside of the top 5. But your top
And Coach
5
K
and my
was
top
one of
5,
his assistants.
huh?
Coach K was one of his assistants.
That is correct. I had the basketball card where Coach K was one of his assistants because Christian Laettner was on that team. I'm a Duke fan.
Mm-hmm.
My top 5 is like your top 5. It's Coach K, Phil Jackson, Pat Riley, Larry Brown, Greg Popovich. What if I were to tell you between those 5 guys that if I was really picking the top 2 in terms of just coaching, well, I would pick Pat Riley or Larry Brown. And some of it is about what you said about Pat Riley, because some of it applies to Larry Brown. Well, it's like, well, Larry Brown is an NCAA championship winning coach and an NBA Finals winning coach.
Yeah.
Larry Brown, from a fundamental aspect, I don't care what you say. Like, I mean, and I just remember this. Well, he undressed Phil Jackson with a vastly inferior team. And that is always going to stay in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Pat Riley has done more diversified in the NBA than anybody in NBA history. He ran a fast break, flashy finesse team to 4 of their 5 titles in the 80s. He ran a New York Knicks team that is probably one of the toughest teams probably the toughest team since the Bad Boy Pistons.
Mm-hmm.
And if not for Michael Jordan, probably does have at least 1 ring. And then there is the Miami Hall, where he has been able to lure the likes of Shaquille O'Neal. He is the man who is responsible for drafting Dwayne Wade, who went 5th and had no business even going 5th, even in that draft, because even in that draft, he should have went 2nd. Even in that draft, he should have went 2nd.
Nah.
History has proven that he shouldn't have went 2nd in that draft. I mean, who's better from that class?
No, you're
than
right.
LeBron?
History is
Dwayne
proving
Wade.
that, but based on what we saw up in that time, Carmelo should have been 2nd in that draft. But I know what you mean.
I hate to tell people this. By the time that rookie season was over and the playoffs started and Dwayne Wade was hitting playoff game-winning shots as a rookie, oh no, I knew who the 2nd pick was supposed to be because rookies don't hit playoff game-winning shots unless they're Magic, right? And so, but Larry Brown for me is probably the best pound-for-pound basketball coach ever, and so. what I would submit to you is who's most like Larry Brown?
As a producer,
Yeah, because I think it's
I
Kanye.
think it's
Because think about the
Kanye too.
connection.
I think it's Kanye too.
Because it's AI. Think about it. He AI's MVP season, the worst team to ever make the finals. Who coached that team?
Yeah.
Who got Rasheed Wallace to calm down long enough to get a ring out of him and actually get him back to a finals in a game 7 against Tim Duncan? He literally got this man to play well for 2 straight years with no problem, except for one bad play in game 7 against Tim Duncan.
I think that Sixers team that with AI on it is probably the second worst team I've seen get to the
it's
finals.
the worst.
I think that first LeBron James.
Nope. Larry Hughes is on that team.
Well, we could say with the Sixers, they had Mutombo on that team. They
Larry
had the
Hughes
defensive player of the year.
Scorer. Mutombo's not a 20-point per game scorer.
I feel you. Now, offensively, yes. But what I was going to say is...
averaged 12 rebounds.
You know what? I just say that the fact that Larry Brown was coach of the year. Larry Brown was coach of the year. I think Kimbe was defensive player of the year, right? You had the MVP, and I think they had the sixth man of the year, Aaron McKee.
And they only had Dikembe half the season because they traded Theo Ratliff, who was leading the league in blocks.
You're right.
So that's part of why that was his greatest coaching job, too, is because they literally switched centers mid-season and still made the finals.
Let me get to these super chats real quick, and we're going to really get to our points. LP says, we get addicted to the act of smoking. This helps. Yeah, yes. I was told that as well by the rep. He was saying that just the motion in itself is what people are addicted to, and that can kind of substitute.
Being able to have something to grab in those moments.
Mm-hmm.
No, for real, like all jokes aside, there have been times where literally there's probably been 2 or 3 times that I probably snapped on this show in the past 4 months because I've been kicking the whole nicotine habit and I haven't had anything to grab because, I haven't been smoking. And it's not good to put like nicotine and cigarette type devices back in your mouth until you've kicked it.
Yeah. You
got to kick it. Because it really, if you don't kick it, it's just going to make you go back to smoking. You won't feel as bad about smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like one of these other products that we got, I told you, Mike, I had like a whole 15-minute conversation with myself on my back porch because it's essentially in cigarette form. And I was like, it's like I haven't touched that in like 2 years because I've been on a vape for a year. And you know what I mean? I ain't seen a cigarette in 2 or 3 years. I was like, I had to get off of those, but that's something that had happened. So it's psychological. It is.
LP with the super chat says, in hip hop, beat maker is greater than producer. I agree with that. And me and Coop were talking about this offline. I think that from a traditional sense, Dr. Dre is probably the only, I guess, I won't say the only, but the most notable producer that we acknowledge on that high level in hip hop who's not really known to be a beat maker. But everybody else, from DJ Premier to Pete Rock to Jay Dilla, even Kanye in a sense, these guys are beat makers. And we even went on a whole tirade about Puff because he is a producer in a traditional sense, but he's not a beat maker. He's not there with the machines, actually creating the sounds. And I agree with that notion that beat makers in hip hop, in this genre, trump producers. What do you think about that?
So here's what I would tell you. Dr. Dre is Phil Jackson. The RZA is Pat Riley. Kanye West is Larry Brown.
Like I view Dre as more of a Popovich.
No.
He put you in his system.
People have to understand. Popovich never had a system. He had Tim Duncan. That was his system.
That's fair. Bill Belichick. He had Brady.
I was just trying to keep it. That's what I'm saying. It's just like, no, he didn't have a system. He had Brady. Now there's a system. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. Coach K has an actual system.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Jackson has an actual system. And so that's DJ Premier and Dr. Dre. An actual system, actual formula that they have that's been proven to work, that worked for them at an extended period of time at a very high level. I look at Popovich as more like Pete Rock or Jay Dilla.
Why?
You feel me?
Why?
Because it's more like
style thing.
Well, Well, look at all the players that you put with them. It always seems good when they come through that offense, don't it?
It does.
Just like Pete Rock and Dilla. It's like, don't it just seem like when people rap over those beats, they sound a little bit better than they sound over other people's beats sometimes? That's kind of like being in Popovich's offense. It's like, well,
he's going to elevate, your
like, how about
offensive
this?
capabilities.
People don't realize this. Kawhi hasn't been as good on the offensive and defensive end at the same time since he left that system. Now, has he?
Well, not consistently, no.
Manu Ginobili's a Hall of Famer in that system. Tony Parker's a Hall of Famer in that system. David Robinson's a Hall of Famer in that system. Tim Duncan's a Hall of Famer in the system. Sean Elliott made an all-star team in that system. Avery Johnson made an all-star team in that system.
Now, I think that David Robinson and Duncan are Hall of Famers regardless. But I will say this. If Manu Ginobili played for the Atlanta Hawks, he wouldn't be a Hall of Famer.
They made Kawhi. I don't care what you said. The player that Kawhi is, he owes all of that to Greg Popovich in that system. He was not that guy. They literally cultivated him and made him that player. And they had time and space to do it because they had other players like Tony and Manu and Tim who were already ingratiated into the system so well. Think about this. LaMarcus Aldridge, DeMar DeRozan, everybody looks good in the system. If you're a basketball player, you look good in that system. DeJounte Murray, who's now part of the Hawks, just made the all-star team in that system.
Ethan Hill says Mike Dean and Gaffestein helped Kanye. Listen, I want to get to that notion too because a lot of guys have help. Now, this is what I'll say about Dre, and I want to kind of point out 2001 because you could really hear it on that album. He's telling everybody how to rhyme. Everything is space in there. Like 2001, that album is about space. Like you could really hear it, even in the drums of like Explosive. But even in the rhyme patterns, everybody's like clapping their hands, stomping their feet. Every now and then they put their mouth on me. Everything is about space. You could really hear it on the LA Niggas song too. Where it's like doom, 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 and everybody's rapping like that too. But when they're on their own stuff, they're not rapping like that. It's clear that Dr. Dre is, I don't want to say dictating how to approach those records, but he's orchestrating how the rappers are rhyming. Now, when it comes to somebody like Kanye, again, you know what? I will say this. I think he probably gave Common some sort of influence on the corner because certain flows I never heard Common really do until then. Black church services, murderers, Arab serving burgers, it's cats with gold permits. Like, you could hear his influence, but I feel like Kanye's able to kind of meet the artists where they are a little bit more and get things out of them that from an emotional or more of a relatable standpoint, the other producers aren't able to do. I think Dr. Dre gets the best out of you sonically, but not, from an emotional standpoint, if that makes any sense.
That would make him the best technical producer.
That's what I kind of deduced. I think Dr. Dre might be the best technical producer, but what do we want our producers to do?
Well, listen, he's running a very specific system, just like Phil Jackson's triangle offense. It's very specific. And the offense, listen to what I'm about to say. Well, that offense only looks good when you have all-time great players in it. The offense when Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen are running the top part of the offense, or when you have a Kobe Bryant and a Shaquille O'Neal at the top and the bottom part of this offense, and you can angle it from the side, from the wing. Oh, well, that's a little bit different.
Well, you got Ice Cube and Snoop Dogg.
Shaq. You got Mike and Scotty.
Yeah, you got Ice Cube and Snoop.
With Mike and Scotty. The triangle with Mike and Scotty is undefeated.
No, you're right. Yeah, try running that triangle with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard.
No, because they're not as good. Paul George is not as good as Scotty. Kawhi is definitely not in Mike's league.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say was, he has the talents. He has Snoop Dogg and he has like Ice Cube, and
DOC, the DOC counts.
Yeah. The Chronic.
50 counts.
Yeah, 50 counts. The Chronic and Doggy Style are not that without Snoop. The Chronic's not the Chronic without Snoop. 2001's not 2001 without Snoop.
So let's have a real conversation because, and this is something you kind of highlighted to me. Well, really, his three best albums, are all real Snoop heavy
Very
in
Snoop
terms
heavy.
of, in terms of what he is lauded for and how he is known. Well, most of the legendary stuff that we laud him for is on The Chronic, on Doggy Style, and on 2001. And who's the real central rhyme figure of those projects?
Snoop.
And so, what I would submit to you is that how great has Dr. Dre really been without Snoop? Because here's why I keep bringing up the RZA thing. Well, I know what RZA sound like with Method Man, Old Dirty Bastard, Raekwon, the Jizza, and Ghostface Killer in motherfucking order, and the answer is phenomenal.
No, you're right. I think the only thing that hurts RZA
In
is the
order.
longevity argument.
In order, though, do you understand what I am saying?
Yeah.
Serving these niggas in order. As a producer and a beat maker. Listen to what I'm saying. As a producer and a beat maker, I made these beats and I executive produced this album.
Mad Max in the super chat says, "Rappers Kawhi is better than he was on the Spurs player as a player. Stop it. He literally got better leaving the Spurs. He had an incredible year with the Raptors." Mad Max says, "Not named Tim Duncan." That's what he meant to say. Jay Short with the super chat says, "I don't think hip hop lacks great beat makers now. I think that we're missing a Puffy / Suge Knight / L.A. Reid to give artists direction and tell them no."
It's not hard to tell an artist no. It goes just like this.
No. LP says Dre was a beat maker until the Chronic though. Well, and this is what I would say.
That's not what he's known for, though. When people talk about Dr. Dre's beats, we're not talking about, like I told you, Niggas for Life is a turning point, but nobody gonna be picking those beats from Niggas for Life and be like, oh, that's the best stuff.
Let's be real, and I'm just gonna say this, and I'm just being 100% honest. Dr. Dre's beat making before the Chronic sounds a lot like Bomb Squad.
No, it's Bomb Squad inspired, like everybody else's beats are.
And so during that time period before the Chronic, like you said, Bomb Squad was the go-to people. I mean, that's where, Ice Cube went straight to Bomb Squad after he left. So I don't think that at that time, Dre's the best producer around. That's Marley Marl. And you know what? Let's just be real. Do you consider Marley Marl to be a producer or a beat maker? And see, that's why being a beat maker is important in hip-hop, because beat makers were DJs. And they were doubling it up.
Marley Marl's a beat maker and a DJ more than he is a producer.
Exactly. But being a beat maker is important because you're a DJ as well, and DJs know what's getting played.
I mean, how about this? I think literally until the Chronic dropped, Marley Marl was considered the greatest hip-hop producer or beat maker ever. Yeah. Like, it literally took the Chronic and Doggy Style for that to not happen. Well, because people were looking at, like, no, listen, and it was legitimate. Think about this. In 1994, as the year is ending, as we are going into January of 1995, Dr. Dre, in a 7-year span, has been the main beat maker and producer of Straight Outta Compton, Niggas for Life, No One Can Do It Better, The Chronic, and Doggy Style. But what I'm trying to submit to you is that since then, only 2001 has been in that stratosphere. Because he didn't really do the beat work on Get Rich or Die Trying or the documentary. Both of those are 5 pieces with executive production.
I know a lot of people are saying that, Marley Marl is both. And I do think Marley Marl is both as a producer, because obviously, you hear things.
Because he did Mama Said Knock You Out.
Yeah.
So he kind of evolved. So he's a DJ, a beat maker, and a producer.
Exactly. But see, this is the thing. A lot of people who
Dre's a DJ too.
Who?
Dre's a DJ too. Dre and Yellow were DJs.
Well. Yeah. He comes from that world, so he knows. But I think that when you take your hands off of, the machine, then you start to open up that door. Like, where does this place somebody like Q-Tip, who is clearly a producer and beat maker and front man for his group? Because when you listen to the Low End Theory, that's well produced. And that's great beat making too. And it's not like, you know what I mean? We've seen Q-Tip with the equipment. We've seen him work the equipment. We've seen Q-Tip find the loops. We've heard the stories of how he got the record, what he saw on the record that gravitated him to the record where he found a certain loop. We don't have those kind of stories with Dr. Dre. And for me, it's problematic, especially for somebody that we're just gonna say is the greatest because as great as the Chronic is, there was a lot of other hands in there and a lot of other people who need to get credit. But when it comes to the low end theory, as great as it is, that credit all gets pointed to one man. And that man also had to be half of the rap group on there. And not to mention, and this is where I give Q-Tip a lot of high marks for the low end theory as well. The first album was more suited to him. And they got 5 mics in the source. It was the first 5 mic album, whatever. But they weren't a group on that album. So he understood, you know what? I need to make stuff that's going to suit both of us. And he found a way to develop that Tribe sound that we know is the Tribe sound now on the low end theory where it fit both of them as a duo.
Fife definitely comes off on the low end theory.
But again, that's a producer getting the best out of people and meeting them where they're at.
Anymore.
Yeah.
He's not making beats for himself anymore. And thereby, how about this? And this is why the jazz and hip hop fusion work better. Well, he put more boom bap into that jazz fusion because of Fife.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fife bought the boom bap out in Q-Tip.
He's meeting him where he is, and he's adjusting as an MC. Because he's even elevated as an MC from the first album to the second.
Far superior.
Yes.
Far superior. See, okay, so can I tell you something? And I've thought about this. You want to know what I really don't like about People's Instinctives? You're going to be hard-pressed to find a great album, a classic rap album that comes out of New York with bar work like that. Like, the bar work's not strong. That's my problem.
Okay. I've heard that before, too.
Q-Tip's Q-Tip, I mean, we know Fife is levels better, but so is Q-Tip. Like, Q-Tip's that nigga on the low end. Matter of fact, Q-Tip is arguably the best MC that year on the year the low end theory comes out. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, that's how he's coming off.
Oh, yeah. Jay Short with the super chat says, Snoop's flow made everything before it sounded dated. Yeah. He said everything before the Chronic sounds dated.
That's what I mean. Is it's like Marley Marl was the greatest hip hop producer ever till the Chronic came out, because the Chronic was just something different. But here's what it was: everybody was sampling James Brown. He went and sampled George Clinton.
Yeah. LP with the super chat says, "What classic Snoop got without Dre? Works both ways." Well,
how about this? You go show me the album that Dr. Dre has produced end to end. Not because he didn't produce Get Rich or Die Trying came with tracks.
Mm-hmm.
The Game's album, some of the best songs are not Dr. Dre songs. Okay,
he didn't produce Get Rich. Good Kid, Mad City is what I was gonna say.
He didn't do any tracks on Good Kid, Mad City though.
All Eyes on Me. He didn't do anything pretty much.
He didn't do nothing but California Love, and we pretty much are finding out that California Love was supposed to be his song, and he really was mad that they ended up giving it to Pac anyway, and that's what led to the riff. Right. So
I think what really hurts too is the fact that he's executive produced 9 out of 10 Eminem albums too. But yeah, you're right. End to end, we don't have anything.
Well, what I'm saying is it the Blue Carpet Treatment and Rhythm and Gangsta and The Last Meal? Well, it's like, well, those are end-to-end dope-ass Snoop Dogg albums. Show me the dope-ass end-to-end Dr. Dre album without Snoop.
That's a good point. Because Rhythm and Gangsta
That's what I keep saying. It's like, we've always talked about how Snoop don't sound the same without Dre. It's like, no, hold up.
Yeah,
Dre shit don't hit the same without Snoop.
You're right.
Because how about this? Dr. Dre ain't winning no verses without the records that Snoop is on. He not.
Facts. And Dr. Dre could also do a whole verses and not play a single Eminem record, and nobody's gonna be like, yo, man, he should have played My Name Is.
Now listen to this, and this is what I mean. So let's go to Kanye and RZA right quick. Oh, you can block a whole classic that they have produced out of their catalog and they can still beat you. It's like, you can't play nothing from The Blueprint. Okay.
Right.
You can't play nothing from Daytona. Okay. You can't play nothing from B. Okay. You can't play nothing from Liquid Swords. Okay. You can't play nothing from Into the Wu-Tang. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. No,
okay.
Right.
Let's go. Are you done? Are you done? I got more. I got 36 in the chamber to be exact. If you're RZA.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? These are facts.
Sean with the
take
super
Snoop
chat.
off the board. Take Snoop off of Dre's board, and it's like, what do we got? It's like, because we back to fuck the police. We back listening to Ice Cube and DOC.
You're right. Sean with the super chat says, what up, guys? Where do you rank Manny Fresh all time? I think Manny was, I like Manny. And I think what he did was incredible in the time period that he did it. But I think the fact that he was kind of pinned down to just one crew really makes it hard to rank him with his peers that did so much work with so many people.
I think that's what hurt him. How about this? At the point that he was making all of his best stuff, well, you only heard 3 or 4 guys rap over it.
Mm-hmm.
That was the saddest thing that actually happened to him, because I think the first time I really heard him outside the camp, I think Jeezy and then what?
Mm-hmm. But that was when everything was kind of, he was past his prime there. Let's just be real.
It had been 3 or 4 years maybe past.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he literally gave BG, Wayne, and Turk and Juvenile all his smoke. So all his smoke is with 4 guys. And if you go look at all your other really all-time great producers, even during their peak run, it's like, no, more than 3 or 4 guys caught smoke.
Yeah. I think that,
look at all the tracks Kanye was giving the people in between the Blueprint and B. Look at all the records. Look at the records that he did between the Blueprint and B. That's what I'm saying. Look at the records between that time. Oh, that's crazy.
Because I think that producers are going to be measured by their versatility. And we saw this even when Manny Fresh and Scott Storch did their verses. And, me personally, I'm more of a Manny Fresh fan than I am Scott Storch. But Scott Storch blew him away off of the versatility alone. And it was unfair. It got to the point where it was unfair. And then by the time the Scott Storch played Still DRE, it was like, man, we got to go home.
What you doing that for? What are you doing that for? What are you doing that for? You playing that now?
Right. Melvin Wright with the super chat says, listen to Dogfather, and they ask who needs who. This is my point about Daz claiming to me he made Doggy Style. Why Snoop get DJ Pooh for it when Dre left?
No, here's the thing.
But go ahead. I want to hear you.
No. Let's go ahead. First of all, who is Daz still signed to when Snoop left?
No, he's talking about Dogfather. That was still on death row.
Dogfather. Oh, that is right.
Yeah.
But is Snoop really working with Death Row during Dogfather?
Well, Daz is his cousin. And so I do see that point where it's like, if Daz made Doggy Style, and it's like, okay, Dre's gone, you would think the first reaction would be, yo, Daz, you just made Ambitions of Rada. No, let's lock in.
Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
The Dogfather is probably the worst sophomore album ever.
I think so. And I love Snoop Dogg.
No, if we're gonna hold all things accountable and be honest, if you want to go to the low points, let's go to the low points. But here's what I'm going to submit to you. From the time that Doggy Style came out, show me Dr. Dre's shit outside of Phone Tap until 2001 comes out. What Dr. Dre shit looked like from Doggy Style to 2001 outside of motherfucking Phone Tap.
Snoop had to get back into the fold. And I always say this, and I know people say that he made Eminem stuff before this, but when Bitch Please came out, there was an energy going around like, yo, they're back.
Hold on. Matter of fact, Top Dog, Last Meal, Rhythm and Gangsta, and the Blue Carpet Treatment.
I think that Dr. Dre is an executive producer on Top Dog. Go check that out for me because I know we were talking about, the executive production that he's done for Snoop or lack thereof over his career. But I think he may have been an executive producer on Top Dog too. So I do want to give credit where credit's due. LP says, straight out of Compton, no one can do it better, niggas for life, all classics. Are we acting like those albums don't exist? He produced them from top to bottom. He did. And the most recent one that you're naming, it's like 1992. And we gotta be honest about that.
No, we just gotta start being honest about stuff. And this is what I mean about being honest about stuff. And I hear what you're saying.
You can't just get the crown and nobody can touch it. You know what I'm saying? And I start thinking about.
No,
Go ahead.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Okay, so let's just start keeping it funky.
Mm-hmm.
How many beats? Let's go to Straight Outta Compton and the DOC's No One Can Do It Better. How many beats on there? Which one of those beats, what beat on there is the beat that's in competition with something like Children's Story by Slick Rick? The Bridge Is Over by KRS-One.
So you're asking me what's the best beat on Straight Outta Compton?
Right. What's the best beat? Because I still think it's probably Express Yourself.
You think so?
What's the best beat? You feel me?
Well, I know I love the
Straight
song
Outta
Straight Outta
Compton.
Compton, but the beat itself is, I
It's,
think,
I hate to, so I'm going to give people a
I
little
was
bit of
gonna say
the history
Gangsta
lesson.
Gangsta, like at the break.
Oh, Gangsta?
Yeah,
Okay, that's Bomb Squad. That's straight Bomb Squad.
it is.
That's a straight Bomb Squad, Jack. But let's get into why Straight Outta Compton is what it is. The rhetoric of Ice Cube.
It is.
Like, Straight Outta Compton is not about Dr. Dre's beats. You see, we've created this mythological character where all things Dr. Dre has touched is great, and the number one reason that it's great is because Dr. Dre produced it. It's like, no, the number one reason that Straight Outta Compton is great is motherfucking Ice Cube.
You're right.
And Ice Cube's rhetoric. And his rhetoric that is very Chuck D and KRS-One inspired from a young West Coast man's perspective. Mm-hmm. We had never heard that before.
You're right.
The talking point of Straight Outta Compton is Ice Cube, not Dr. Dre. So let's just take those beats off the board. None of those beats are in the conversation for greatest beats of all time. Okay?
Even that year, I don't think. Because again,
there's not even a top 5 beat that year on there.
It's hard to do that because you got Rebel Without a Pause coming out that year, which is it destroys everything on there. You got
that whole album production.
It destroys everything on there, beat wise.
Right.
I mean, it does.
Like, how about this? Let's go to Mike. Do you think there's a beat on Straight Outta Compton that's even better than I Ain't No Joke by Rakim?
No.
That's what I'm saying. You see how quick you said that?
No.
Straight Outta Compton's about Ice Cube and how great Ice Cube is.
Yeah.
We don't realize how great Dr. Dre is until we start hearing some of the beats on No One Can Do It Better.
Yeah.
It's funky enough, Mike.
Yeah. No One Can Do It Better is probably one of his best production jobs that never gets talked about.
It is his best production job that doesn't get talked about. Now, if you want to go talk about funky enough as a beat for its era, for that year, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Niggas for Life, Mike, he kind of tipped the scales.
Oh, yeah. Niggas for Life is a great production job. Now, that album is about the production.
It is. But here's what I would submit to you. Didn't the Low End Theory and Niggas for Life came out the same year? What's the better produced album?
No, that was 92 and Low End Theory's 91.
Hold on. Is Niggas for Life 92?
Yeah.
When in 92? Like January?
Look it up real quick. Let me go to these super chats.
Yeah.
We want to be accurate.
At the same time.
I am SP Fresh says, in my humble opinion, DJ Quick is a better producer than Dr. Dre. Quick works with the MPC.
No, Niggas for Life, May 28th, 1991.
Okay, it's 91? Okay, so it is Low End Theory. All right.
So what's better produced, the Low End Theory or Niggas for Life?
Low End Theory.
Okay.
Hands down.
So when is he king? So you get what I'm saying?
When
is he king?
You're right. The Chronic.
When is he the king 92? Of the beats? The Low End Theory comes out the same year as Niggas for Life.
Yeah, what am I talking about? The Chronic's 92. I'm tripping.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Mike, is Niggas for Life not his best production job up to that point?
Up to that point, yes.
Is it production-wise better than the Low End Theory?
That's one of the best produced hip-hop albums of all time, though.
So when did he become king?
The Chronic.
Snoop.
Yeah, The Chronic.
Right.
Yeah. I am SP Fresh says.
So there's some viable, like all I'm saying is that we just have to start breaking stuff down because it's like, well, Kanye was great from jump, no matter who you gave him. RZA walked in the door with Woo and was like, here's Bring the Pain. I'll do what? True Master got Brooklyn Zoo. I got Shimmy Shimmy Yon, baby. Come on.
Well, they worked with what they had, too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Let me finish this super chat. He says that he thinks
I just want to be honest. I'm not trying to castigate Dre either. I'm just...
Right.
Yeah.
I want to get these super chats real quick. He said, Quick works with the MPC as well as uses musicians to craft his tracks. Yeah?
It's in the hood beat.
Now, I think that Quick is a great mixture of them both as well. Antler with the super chat says, Mac 10, Connected for Life, produced by Manny Fresh, was different for him. Yeah, but he was on Cash Money, though.
You want to know what?
Ohio K with the super chat says, Fresh was producing by himself. Scott Storch had a lot of help. This is true, too. Go ahead. What were you saying, Coop?
No, I'm just saying. We just have to be fair when we audit these conversations because people act like people literally act like it's always been this way for Dre, and it's like, no, that really didn't start till the Chronic.
LP says Snoop had ghostwriters like Dre had ghost producers. Well, that's beside the point. It's a
No. He's
collective
giving people
thing.
credit. I don't think he's had ghost producers. He's giving the people credit. It's just been a lot of help. Like we had Chris the Glove Taylor pull up. We know Mailman.
Well, I think
Elizondo.
right, and I think on an overall viewpoint, we give one man credit. Like we're seeing this with the Diddy thing, and I know Diddy and Jermaine Dupri say they're gonna do like a hit for hit thing, but my thing is like, what exactly is Diddy going to play? Like, what exactly can you get credit for that you didn't make from a collective standpoint, you know? And I think if Dre's gonna get all this credit, all the people that he's worked with need to get that credit as well. You know what I'm saying?
No, somebody just pulled up with something valid, and they're right. We're forgetting the Easy E stuff. So here's what I'll tell you about the Easy stuff. The Easy E stuff is where the Chronic stuff comes from. That's all. That's where the G-Funk stuff comes from. We want Easy. We want Bootsy. That's where all that started.
You're right.
So they're worried about that. Somebody said something about Boys in the Hood. Yeah, I'll give them Boys in the Hood.
Trey says, Dre did You Can't See Me too. Classic. But you know what? And I love You Can't See Me. But that's just a What's My Name retread. He just redid that record again, man. Same sample, same approach.
Beat-wise, it's not. Yeah, it's not.
But it's not What's My Name. Like, no. That song's a whole nother level. Who Am I think, is one of the greatest hip-hop singles ever released from a quality standpoint. And You Can't See Me just sounds like a recycled version of that. Jay Stone with the super chat says, Boys in the Hood beat was fire. Yes, it was.
Hold on. How about this? People don't. I think this is how some of the legend gets kind of misconstrued too. I think Gin and Juice and Ain't No Fun have become more memorable over time. What's My Name is the reason that Doggy Style is the first rap album to go #1 and stay there for 4 weeks straight. Gin and Juice wasn't out when that happened.
No.
That's how dope and that's how big What's My Name was.
That song was crazy. Is crazy.
Like, for real, you had never even heard him. Like, when he said, motherfucker, I got 5 on a 20 sack. It's like nobody talked like that on record before.
I mean,
you feel me? It's like that, and as a matter of fact.
I mean, even the way he started that shit off with From the Depths of the Sea. Man, come on, man. Come on, man.
I went solo on that ass, but like, it's still the
Jigga
same.
took the first 8 bars of that joint.
Yeah. Long Beach is the spot where I serve my cane. It's like, word.
Follow me, but don't lose your grip. 9 Triz A's to get here for me to, man, come on, man. And I ain't holding nothing
back. He was right.
Nothing. Jay Short with the super chat says, we got to get this right. When the Chronic dropped, Snoop was idolized out here. Dre was #2. He was the biggest rapper with no album over Cube. The 5 o'clock news covered this album release. Shout out to Jay Short with the West Coast perspective. See, now, we didn't get all of that out here. We just knew that the dude from Deep Cover was next.
I told you, Mike, I was on the east side when the Chronic dropped, and it's like, I'd never heard an album really before get played in the streets, like regularly until the Chronic. I didn't even know what it was like for dudes to be consistently bumping. Like, it was the first time I really heard dudes play stuff in their system that wasn't 808 bass. I gotta go see Sade off right quick.
No, do your thing. I'm gonna go ahead and go through these super chats. Melvin Wright with the super chat says, Snoop was garbage till he got back with Dre on Top Dog. And then he went with Pharrell after that run. Dre is a producer first, not an artist. Okay, you say that Snoop was garbage at that point, but what was Dre looking like in that period? Let's just be real. And Zach Lee says Quincy Jones never made a beat, but he's known as a producer. Of course, he is, but hip-hop is a little different. Hip-hop is about beats and rhymes, ultimately. And when you have somebody who's able to make their beats and loops and stuff from scratch, there's something that adds to an MC, because that's where the root of this whole thing is. Like, the center of hip hop is the DJ, right? Way everything started, DJs out here playing loops, break beats, and then you get an MC that goes out there and gets on the mic and starts MCing. That part of the process in hip hop is what created a beat maker. There's not a beat maker without hip hop or before hip hop. So I don't think that the other rules for other genres traditionally even apply to hip hop when it comes in that way. Ethan Hill with the super chat says, Coop, you forgot about Easy Does It. I think Coop already covered that. We're really, really behind in the super chats. Let me catch up real quick so we can get back up to it. But yeah, I think when we talk about the traditional production style, I don't think that it is beneficial in hip hop for us to act like a producer is better than a beat maker. I think that sometimes beat makers have to be producers, to actually make palatable records. But I think that if you're a producer in hip hop and you're not a beat maker, that kind of puts you to the back of the line. And I think that honestly, man, if we want to talk about overall scope of things, I have to put Kanye West above Dr. Dre as an overall hip hop producer. I think that the versatility that Kanye has presented over the years, with the ability to not rhyme with, produce for people like Twista, to Common, to Jay, to whoever, and not to mention what he's done R&B wise. I think you could really argue the fact that from an R&B standpoint, Kanye's done more production wise than Dre has on an R&B level. I think I hear Coop coming back, and I want to hear him piggyback off of this too. Coop, you there?
I'm not done yet because I have to give my kids some money.
No. Do your thing, man. But I was just saying that I think Kanye West is a better producer than Dr. Dre. And I limited it to hip hop at first. And then I was like, well, Kanye has better produced R&B records than Dre does.
Yeah, he does.
You know what I mean? Like, where's Dre's You Don't Know My Name by Alicia Keys? Not to mention that the work that Kanye did on Brandy's album. Not to mention that the work that Kanye's done with John Legend. Where's Dr. Dre's resume when it comes to those things? So I'm not even going to just minimize it to hip hop. Kanye's just a better producer than Dr. Dre to me. And I hate to admit that. I think from a quality standpoint, and we look at production in some lenses, we look at production from a polished product type of standpoint. Yeah, Dre got the polished product. But I think when you talk about the overall versatility and you talk about being able to take on artists and make the best out of that individual artist and give them your greatness, I got to give that one to Kanye over Dre. Somebody said, get it all out, Mike. Yes. I land my plane there. But yes, I think I got Kanye over Dre, and I know that Coop was saying that he feels like RZA is over Dre. Now that part I may not totally agree with, and I love RZA. I think RZA's made some of my favorite beats all time, but I think that the longevity side of it might hurt RZA when it comes to him going up against Dre in that facet. Dre has one song with Mary J. Blige. Yeah, I mean. Yeah, and people. So, do you guys agree, or am I tripping? Am I off? Dre worked with Tony Braxton. What song? I know he was in the video, but what song did Dr. Dre make for Tony Braxton?
All right, that's my bad, Mike.
Oh, you cool? We had a great conversation, man. I was basically just spilling it all out about how I think Kanye is just a better overall producer than Dr. Dre. I think. At first, I started off saying it was hip-hop, and then I was like, well, Kanye's made better R&B records than Dr. Dre, too.
Hold on, what record specifically are you talking about? Because, I'm thinking about Gwen Stefani's.
Oh, no, I was going to go Alicia Keys, You Don't Know My Name. Not to mention the work that he's done with John Legend on his first two albums.
That's one of his best beats, actually, is You Don't Know My Name.
It is. It's her best song. It's Alicia Keys' best song.
Is that her best song? Oh, you might be right. I like Diary too, but that's
yeah, it's better.
That's the Tony remake.
Yeah, that's Andrew Wiggins, not Andrew Wiggins. You know what I'm talking about. Andrew Wiggins. But no, he did Knock Knock for Monica.
He did.
And like I said, Get Lifted album. I want to say he did about half of that. Once again,
I think off Get Lifted alone.
Yeah. Once again, the work that he did with Brandy, not to mention Keisha Cole's first ever single, I Don't Know.
Right. Oh
Yeah.
God, you forget
Yeah.
about
He's a
he,
better R&B producer than Dr. Dre too.
he just did so much beat work, especially like he threw people so much heat and kept so much heat. That's the thing that's most impressive about his run. Like RZA's impressive thing about his run is like so much classic stuff,
Right.
so fast, so hard with no breaks. It's like that's not getting done again. But I don't know if anybody has thrown out records the way Ye threw out records and still kept classic stuff for himself and still kept classic stuff for the best artists, like the best MCs. Because
And when it was time to lock in and make an album like B, he did it.
Right.
You know, I'll tell you this, man. And the other part that kind of makes me gives me second thoughts about saying Dr. Dre's the best. If Kanye West had Rakim on his roster, I don't think nothing would. I don't think that we would have never gotten any album.
We would have got a Rakim album.
We would have got a Rakim album. Like, that bothers me, the fact that Dr. Dre had Rakim on his roster in the time period that he did, and we got nothing out of it. What does that say about him as a producer?
Your meticulous nature and your technicality can hurt you at times. Your reputation can hurt you at times. And this is what I mean about it being kind of like mythicized. It's like, well, his legend is so mythicized even in his mind, he forgets that it's like, nigga, all the beats on Straight Outta Compton ain't fire. All the beats on No One Can Do It Better ain't perfect. All the beats on Niggas for Life ain't fire. Mike, every beat on The Chronic isn't like a tour de force on beat making.
You know what this is?
If you really want to know, Mike, The Chronic, beat-wise, is just as standout as Snoop is. It's like the Nothing But a G thing is clearly the highlight, but let's go to it. He really got named greatest producer ever at that moment because of the transition from the day the niggas took over, from that transition into Nothing But a G thing. We had never heard that before. And then to hear that over such a great beat, because it is still one of the best rap beats ever.
Now, you know, one of the best rap moments ever for me, Up in Smoke Tour, when he comes out in that lowrider and they play that Let Me Ride remix and that beat drops and the high drop, like, that shit is epic. Now, I would be remiss to not, bring up Let Me Ride remix. The way he flipped that whole Mothership sample, that shit is crazy. But these are just individual moments. If we're looking at the collective, and we got to be fair here, like, it's very hard to put somebody who had Rakim on their roster. No. Like, how do you have Rakim on your roster? That's like if Mike D'Antoni had KD or Michael Jordan on his roster and he didn't maximize the moment. What does that say about you as a producer? Your job as a producer is to get the best out of the talent that is there. You get a talent to that level and you do nothing with it, that has to be a mark on, and not a good mark, on your production skills. Sorry.
Let's go to D'Antoni right quick and what he got out of James Harden. It's like, okay, so you got a 6'4" shooting guard who is a streaky shooter, but not necessarily a notoriously great shooter, to average 36, 37, 38 points a game a season. Mm-hmm. So when we give you KD in his prime, he's going to score 50, right? KD's not playing. What you mean KD ain't playing? He's supposed to score 50 points in your system. Right. James Harden averaged 38 points a game in your system. That means KD's good for 50.
Right.
I want to see it happen. No, you're right about that. But this is what I mean about how we just mythicize these things, because this is what I'm trying to say. Is like, let's go pull up The Chronic.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
Yeah.
By the way, you have to go to Google to do now.
Yeah, because it's not on the streaming platforms. While you do that, let me go through these super chats. Blue Collar Hustle says, fun fact, Nas had You Don't Know My Name first. Interesting. Jay Short, the super chat says, Dre duck beat making for Busta Rhymes, Rakim, and Kendrick. See, I didn't even go there with the Kendrick thing, but you would think, after hearing Section 80 and hearing what this kid did on Rigor Mortis, all of these records, High Power, as a great producer, you'd be like, yo, man, I can't wait to get this guy in the lab. Didn't happen. Jay Short said Dr. Dre tried to influence Rakim's bars. Unforgivable. Yeah, man.
So
No one could
no,
tell
so
Rakim how to
so
rap.
listen. So no. So listen how the Chronic plays out. I want you to tell me the beat that's better than Little Ghetto Boy after Little Ghetto Boy. So it starts off with Dre Day.
Mm-hmm.
Let Me Ride. The Day the Niggas Took Over. Nothing But a G Thing. These Nuts. Little Ghetto Boy. Stop. Okay?
I
A
like
Nigga With a Gun.
I like Nigga With a Gun a lot.
Do you think it's better beat-wise than Little Ghetto Boy?
I think it's a great beat. It's hard to say. I mean, Little Ghetto Boy is incredible. I think
That's
bitches
what I'm
ain't.
trying to say.
I think
No.
bitches ain't shit
So
is
you see
crazy.
what I'm saying about how we mythicize it? It's like, no. Like the beat, the epic beat making, like stops around track 7, 8. So let's say you go Nigga With a Gun.
I love that.
Rat-a-tat-tat.
Rat-a-tat-tat's kind of a drop off, and I like that song.
Okay, $20 Sack Pyramid Skit's funny. Lyrical Gangbang, beat-wise.
Lyrical Gangbang beat wise is kind of basic, but the rhyming on that kind of carries that record.
High Powered.
That's a dope record, but it's not, not top of the album level.
Stranded on Death Row.
Same thing as kind of Lyrical Gangbang.
Okay, so it really
But
doesn't pick back up.
Bitches Ain't Shit, though,
Ain't
is
shit.
crazy.
Right, that's
But
what
you
I'm
know what?
saying.
It's funny
So,
that you mention it like that. 2001 does a similar thing, too. Once
It
2001
does.
gets
And
to
so
next episode, it kind of...
So let's stop making it seem like every beat that this man makes is flawless, because you see part of why we don't get material from him is because we treat him that way. Like every production has been flawless. It's like, no. The Chronic is one of the best produced albums ever. We didn't say every beat on here was classic, because it's not.
Now, honestly, man, if you went down the line with the beats on the Low End Theory, you might be surprised. I'll put it that way. Because
not every beat, Mike, but I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, the Low End Theory for me is a top 10 rap album, and it is a top 10 produced rap album.
But
so I understand what
top
you were
end
saying.
is not what the Chronic is, but I'm just saying from end to end. Because
No,
it doesn't
I get what
really
you're
experience a drop off.
I mean, because even think about this. Suge Knight has executive production credits on the Chronic.
Yeah. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but yeah.
No, that's what I mean. It's just like, no. I mean, it's like, did he really help?
Right. Oh, you're speaking to just that executive production credit. Because I don't want to say this like it's disparaging, but what exactly did Dr. Dre do on Good Kid, Mad City? Did he put together the skits or?
I don't know.
Arrange
Other than being
those
on Compton,
things?
which is a Just Blaze track, I really don't know. Maybe
Because
you can help
the
me.
thing is, and we always talk about Quincy Jones and everybody always says, yo, you don't know what a producer's role, this and that. What Quincy Jones' role was as a producer, he's getting all the personnel. Let's just talk about the Michael Jackson album specifically. He's getting all the personnel. He's getting Rod Temperton. He's getting all the instrumentalists. He's getting all of the, the drummers. He's putting together that whole session.
I think Snoop even had a hand in that. Because where's the Dog Pound coming from? That's Snoop's crew.
Exactly. So I'm just saying, when we talk about Good Kid, Mad City specifically, I know Dr. Dre didn't set that stuff up in that way for Kendrick. Kendrick came in with his team already.
Who found Snoop is the question. Did Dre find Snoop, or did Snoop find Dre?
Snoop found Dre, as the story is told. But Dre had to say yes.
You just said the job of the executive producer is to go source out the talent.
Warren
Biggest
G
talent is Snoop Dogg. No, the biggest talent is Snoop. The second biggest talent is probably Daz because of the production. Third biggest is probably Nate or Corrupt. That's all Snoop's crew.
But
so
see,
Snoop brought him out.
I was going to say, not to interrupt you, but Warren G did all of those things that you're talking about. And Warren G said his role during the Chronic times was to go get the records that were going to be sampled. So not only did Warren G, in this instance, go get the records for the Chronic, he brought you Snoop Dogg. And essentially
so
probably Nate Dogg too, because they were a group. Go ahead.
213.
Yeah. So he essentially brought you Snoop and Nate.
So your little brother bought you Snoop Dogg and Nate Dogg.
Yeah.
And thereby got you Daz and Corrupt, because Corrupt and Snoop went to high school together.
And Daz is Snoop's cousin.
and Daz is Snoop's cousin.
Yeah.
Snoop and Corrupt got into a battle in high school.
Yeah.
Right.
So that
sounds
collective
like
that made the
Warren
Chronic,
G.
yeah.
That sound like your little brother like blessed you with the gift of a motherfucking lifetime, because he bought you Snoop, which thereby bought you Nate, Daz, and Corrupt plus Snoop, plus having Warren G there too.
No, where does Rage come from?
Rage is Snoop finding her on tour because
That's
she's
what I
from
thought.
VA.
Okay.
He found her on his first tour.
Okay, because I figured that Snoop and Rage were the ones that were close.
Yeah, Snoop is the one that found Rage.
So who did Dre find? The DOC?
I think Easy found the DOC, Mike.
Mm.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, Easy found the DOC.
I'm trying to give credit here.
No, I mean, we can. You see, here's the thing: the DOC thing literally does like we're like 8 years old, Mike. So it's
Yeah.
like I can't speak to that. We're like 8 years
Well,
old.
maybe
and no one
somebody
can
in the
look
chat could speak to that, because I know we got a lot of people in here, and maybe some people know where DOC came from. Was it Easy or was it Dre? Well, okay. Well, who did Dre find? Nocturnal.
I mean, Game sought him out. M got 50. Rakim is Rakim. Nas is Nas.
Right. And Don was already in Vogue.
Yeah.
Where did the Eve thing come from? I'm not even gonna count Eve because he didn't put out anything on her. So, and it took her going to the Rough Riders to actually release something. Sitting on another gem. I mean, I don't know how talented Eve was at that point, but we know how
I feel like she
talented
was the
Eve became.
aftermath after Rough Riders, though.
No, she
No,
did.
Mike. That's
She went back. No, he had her first.
did he?
Yeah, he had her first.
You know, I met Eve when I was in high school and What Y'all Want came out.
And I felt, I won't say I felt the way, but it's really odd. I could see how Rough Riders could feel a way about the fact that, you know what, you sent her over here for it to work, and when it worked, she came right back. Because when they got their deal with Interscope, that was, part of that.
Hold on. So you're saying that she was with Mike? I don't
She
know
was
how
with
that's
Dre
going to work.
first.
See, she's from Philly, so I don't know how she was linking on the West Coast with Drake. Because think about it, she's on You Got Me too.
No, I know. I'm telling you, like, they explained all of it in the Rough Riders documentary. But yeah, she was
How's
with
she
Dre
end up on the
first.
West Coast? Because like Rockefeller and Rough Riders are like right there, and the Roots are right there with OK Player. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a bunch of like, you feel me?
Yeah. Around that Aftermath album time. I forgot how she said that, she got connected, but she explained it actually. I've seen her explain how she got connected to Dre, and he had her out there. Oh, somebody says Dre met him on tour and told him to come out to LA. Now, I'm sure somebody out there can give us the story on Eve and Dre too, but I remember her saying
who
that.
Who talking about met who on tour? DLC?
Yeah, DLC.
Okay,
now,
I
she
can
was
see
basically saying that she was in the studio and, and they just weren't coming up with stuff for her. And she was really antsy and ready to work. And I think Jimmy Iovine was like, well, you ready to work, Rough Riders, it might be better over there. It might be a better fit over there for now. And it's like, you had a talent like Eve, a raw talent like Eve. You had a veteran like Rakim, and Busta Rhymes was on there for a minute too, and
that's not a veteran. That's a legend and arguably the greatest MC of all time.
But you know what I mean. And even with the Busta Rhymes thing, as much as well put together as I think that the album they did together is,
it has no soul.
It doesn't sound like Busta Rhymes. Once again, yeah. There's like one or two songs on there that sounds like the Busta Rhymes that we all know. But it sounds like a Dr. Dre album. So, yeah. But we could go on and on about that. But yeah, I mean, I think that just unpacking some of those things, I think that being a beat maker in hip hop, to me, is more important than being a producer in hip hop. Now, you have to be both. But if we're sliding in the scale, give me a 70% beat maker and a 30% producer. In hip hop.
Because here's what you'll find. Okay. Who's the executive producer of Illmatic?
Is it Large Prof? Oh, I know who it is. Faith Newman and MC Serch.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because again, you could get people who don't make beats to do that.
Like Puff.
Yeah,
Yeah. And so the beat maker
the beat maker is
in
more
this
important.
spectrum, because here's the thing about it. Like, and this is what I mean. When you're dealing with R&B, it's like, well, your rhythm and your melody matter. So it's like, well, the people playing the music matter.
Yeah,
You feel me? That's why Clyde Stubblefield is so important to James Brown, because he changed the way those drumming patterns were going for James, which is what James was asking for.
right.
You feel me? The person playing the instrument matters. In hip hop, the person playing the instrument technically is the beat maker.
I
So
think
that is the person that technically matters more, because here's the thing. There are a lot of people in this sphere that can come in that don't know how to make the beat and Quincy Jones it. But what does it say when you have somebody like a Q-Tip that can make the beat and produce your whole album?
exactly.
Or Kanye West.
Yep.
Or RZA. Or The Alchemist.
That's where
or
I was
Havoc.
gonna go too, because in hip hop we have so many people that have had to do both. We're not gonna just give credence to a person that doesn't have to do both. You know what I'm saying? You gotta. I don't say you have to. At this point, I would like for Dr. Dre to prove that he could still be a beat maker in hip hop.
I mean, I'd like to hear it, because here's the reality of the matter. The last classic album that he did heavy production work on was Get Rich or Die Trying, and that's 5 songs, and that's 2003.
What did he do on that Compton album?
I mean, he did work on there too, but I said like classic.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why do we act like stuff like that doesn't exist?
I mean, I think he did. Did he do the last track, Diary? That was the best track on there.
I thought the song with Game was probably my favorite track on there. I haven't listened to Compton.
Animals was Primo's beat.
Yeah. Melvin Wright with the super chat says Destiny Jones is the executive producer of Stillmatic. So what does Suge being the executive producer of The Chronic have to do with anything?
See, people set that up so they can eat. That's why I'm saying. It's like, well, who's executive producing what? Because people set that up so that they can eat a certain type of way.
Well, Proswell's the executive producer of the score. So what are we saying?
Right.
The Combs says, Coop, you said you met Eve in high school. Did she have a fatty? Whoa.
These fools crazy. I did meet Eve in high school. I used to actually work at a record store in high school. We actually.
I remember you saying she was cool.
Right. No, she was. She was one of the cooler artists that I met. I've met a lot of these people. I told you, Mike, it was funny when I started doing this. It's like I've literally been having these run-ins with famous like entertainers and rappers and athletes since I was like 13 years old. Like I ran into Method Man and Redman like at Freedom Mall on the west side of Charlotte once. Like this been happening to me my whole life. Eve came into Manifest Disc and Tapes in the summer that I graduated from high school, and What Y'all Want came out. She was performing at our version of Summerfest in Charlotte that summer. And she was just like literally coming in to do a little signing. She wasn't even a big artist at all. She had one single out. It was What Y'all Want. She was getting some buzz. She came in Daisy Dukes and a tank top. She was, you want to know what? She was the chick that LL described in Round the Way Girl. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Someone says Dr. Dre has no footage of actually crafting a beat. Wow. NDU Jam says Raekwon also went to try to do something with Dre. It never came into fruition. That's true. I forgot about Ray. That's a lot to leave on the table if you're the greatest hip-hop producer of all time. Like I said,
we got 2 tracks out of Dre on Purple Tape too, though. That's more than most cats get.
2. And they weren't even the standouts. Let's be real. The standouts came from the guy who was no longer here. Dilla got the standouts on there.
Okay, 17 Bricks is the standout.
10 Bricks.
10 Bricks, 17 Bricks. I don't care. It's like
that's Dilla.
That's Dilla.
It's Dilla.
That's the hold on. That's the best beat on there.
It's insane. It's the best beat of that year.
It is the best beat that year. Hold on. Broken Safety with Kiss and Styles is probably the best mic performance. But where you have those Dre tracks on the Purple Tape too? I have them pretty high, Mike.
I gotta go back and listen because We Will Rob You is one of my favorites.
Just off the top, 10 Bricks and Broken Safety, and the first Wu joint that got Meth crushing it at the end is the only 3 joints that I can think of. You know,
I like New Wu too. Yeah.
Huh?
No. That song you're talking about, Clan in the Front, Dilla
Let your
did
feet
that
stomp.
too.
Niggas on the left,
That's Dilla
rags to the
too.
death. Hoods on the left. Wild for the night. That shit. Oh, that's classic Wu-Tang.
That's Dilla too.
Is that Dilla?
That's Dilla.
Oh, those are the best two tracks on
It
there.
is.
Because Broken Safety is the best mic performance, but the best two beats are those two beats.
Oh yeah.
Well, Dilla's the best beat maker, though. We've talked about this beat for beat.
Well, you know what? Yeah. All right. Let's look at it like this.
That's why people feel like Dilla's the best producer ever. Because if you're just going like track for track, it's like, well, his drums, Mike, it's like you said, his drums hit different. His beat making different.
His
Mike,
beats
he's a
make you
better
wanna
beat
rap.
maker than Q-Tip. Mike, he's a better beat maker than Q-Tip. Think about how we just talked about Q-Tip during the show. We just said the Low End Theory is better produced than Niggas for Life.
If you could get an album produced by Dr. Dre or Dilla, who you picking?
Dilla. Hold on. When you see, what do you mean? See, when you say produce, you mean who's making the beats?
Well, I mean, let's just say
That's what
Dr.
I'm
Dre
saying.
throws his name on there.
Here's how I feel about it. Like as an artist, Dilla would always be my choice as an artist for the majority of the beat selection.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? Like it's like, oh, we just picking beats. I'm probably taking Dilla, Pete Rock, and RZA in that order, like to pick my beats from. After I've picked about 10 of Dilla's beats and about 3 of Pete Rock's beats and about 2 of RZA's beats, then we gonna see what's left. If we talking beats, and whoever can executive produce that, I'm cool with. But if we just talking beats, I want a 10-pack from Dilla first. I want a 10-pack from Dilla. And when I say 10, they're not gonna give me 10. I'm negotiating for 4. You're asking for 10, you're gonna get 4, and then I'm gonna work from there.
Well, you know, you brought up a great point when we brought up MC Search and Faith Newman. You could just get some record executives who know their music to be your executive producer. You
When
don't
Large
need
Professor
Dr.
Pete
Dre
Rock-
to be your
When Large
executive producer.
Professor and Pete Rock and DJ Premier and Q-Tip are doing the majority of the beat work. Like, yeah, you can get almost anybody. You can get almost anybody.
KD
So you
with
get
the
a
super
motherfucker
chat.
with an ear. You got an ear. You listen to rap. You know what rap sound like.
When I listen to the records that didn't make Illmatic, I mean, it's kind of
shouldn't
like
have
a
made Illmatic.
no-brainer. It's like,
It
yeah,
shouldn't have made Illmatic.
yeah.
Right.
It's like, I see why I didn't make it. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a song that didn't make it where I was like, damn, that should have been on there.
No.
They made all the right
No.
choices. KD with the
This is
super
what I
chat
mean.
says Dre doesn't produce anymore. He has a production team with Focus, Fred Rec, etc. He did produce Simba's new single, but I believe it's an old beat. Okay. And if you got a team and all those things, I just can't have you at the #1 spot like that. And when's the last time Dr. Dre produced, like you said, from end to end with just him?
Where is it?
Melvin Wright with the super chat
I just
says,
want some evidence, because if y'all are saying Daz contributed to Doggy Style, then you're telling me that the last time that he produced end to end by himself is The Chronic. Well, what I would submit to you
well,
is that the
no,
only
Warren
time
G
that he
did a
really-
lot of help there too, but, you know, whatever. I feel
No,
you.
let's. The Chronic says all songs produced by Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
It always has.
Yeah.
So we're just going to say that. We're going to say, how about this? We're going to say everybody was earning their stripes, even if they helped. Okay? But
there's been some
Doggy
producer
Style, we
talk
know
out
Daz
there.
helped. We know Daz helped with Doggy Style, right? Like, we know this, right?
Yeah. Did you see the video that Jermaine Dupri put up? I think it was today. It was a producer out there talking about basically ghost production, talking about how in the 90s, a lot of those producers used to basically take unknown producers' tracks and throw their names on it. And he mentions Jermaine Dupri. And Jermaine Dupri made a whole video with him and Brian Michael Cox right there with him. He was like, listen, I don't know about any of those other cats that you're talking about, but don't ever put that on my name. We make everything right here. This is my production partner. I ain't never took nobody's stuff and put the name on it. And yeah, I will give Jermaine this. Jermaine's always in the studio, and you always see him in
he's
front
a
of some
certified beat
equipment.
maker, Mike. He's a certified beat maker.
Yeah.
There's so much footage of him being in the studio making stuff from scratch. Like,
Yeah.
there's endless footage of it from a young age.
Yeah.
Like, from Criss Cross age, from the Brat stage. Like, Like, how about this? We got, I mean, if there is footage from 1989, no, he's making beats then.
Mm-hmm.
Making beats then.
And he jumped out there and shot that down immediately, as he should. He does the work. You know what I mean? And I think that it's just been so commonplace for us to just say that's just how it goes in hip hop. But no, man, we can't. If we know that somebody else is making these records that we're giving a certain producer credit for, that's points off, man. I'm sorry, man. We just got to be as fair as we would be when it comes to the MCs, right?
You want to know what, Mike? I think the all-time producer list is actually a tougher list to make than the all-time MC list.
It is.
Because when I'm thinking about it, let's try to think about, Mike, who are the 20 best producers of all time?
20?
20.
Damn it, man. Let me go through these super chats and I'm going to think about
You do that, because I'm making a list right now, because it's like I'm going through this list. It's like, oh, man, I can give you 20 guys easy.
Melvin Wright with the super chat says DLC was in a group featured on NWA and the Posse LP. Okay. So that's where he came from. Hold on, I think I passed the big super chat. Ray Rims says, I'm asking you both individually, which person would you want to EP your next rap album? Rock Marciano or Puff? Beatmaker versus collaborator. Depends on what type of artist that I'm dealing with. But in this moment, in 2022, I would definitely probably lean more towards Rock Marciano because he's working. He's active.
Okay.
KD with the super chat says, Dre did Catalina and About Me on Purple Tape 2. I didn't love Catalina like that. It was cool.
I didn't love Catalina, but that's because I thought that they should have found somebody else other than Life.
Mm-hmm.
Just being honest. Because that record could have been bigger.
Jay Short says,
they should have made that a movie.
Jay Short says, you guys talked about Jada. He needs an executive producer.
I agree.
I guess it's all about what your needs are. Ryan Gillum says, what 5 things does a rap album need to be a 5 out of 5? I want to get back to the previous comment real quick, though.
Go ahead.
I think that, yeah, he may need a executive producer, but I don't think he needs Dr. Dre. He needs somebody that, yeah, I'm not saying he needs Kanye either, but he needs somebody that's going to hone in to the fact that how do we bring this out of Jadakiss 10 times out of 10 on a track? And similar to what I said earlier, you need a paid in full type of format to get a classic Jadakiss album. Because if that shit's banging like that, ain't nobody going to care that he didn't make a song for the ladies or something. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to care about that. As long as it sounds complete, similar to in a Daytona format where it's like he's doing what he does best for 8 tracks out of 8, cool. But I think somebody like Dr. Dre would take on Jadakiss assignment and try to change him into what he makes as a classic. You know what I mean?
No, I do. I want you to understand, I've done so much typing that this iPad was at like 85%. It's at 10%. I'm got to go get my charger now because I'm writing down this producer list right now. And this is what I mean. Like, this shit is tough, Mike. Like to be.
Well, I can't wait to hear it. Ryan Gillum says, what 5 things does a rap album need to be 5 out of 5? 5 things, I would say: beats, rhymes, life, creativity.
Rhymes and life, Mike. Yeah.
Beats, rhymes, life, creativity, and standouts. Coop is working hard over there putting together this list. I can see the brain fumes working. Jay Short says Purple Tape 3, produced by Dilla with Meth as the co-star. Man, that shit would have been heavy, man. Rest in peace to Jay Dilla. Yay, large professor. Okay. I want to get to the other super chats. Yeah, I mean, because if we think about it, a lot of the producers, and I'm sure that Coop's going to name a lot of them, that are majority beat makers. And that's what I want to do, too. With your list, I want to see what percentage of a beat maker are they and what percentage of a producer are they. You got to be more of a beat maker than producer to be killing it in hip-hop. Ohio K with the super chat says, save the producer list for the Patreon.
No, I mean, this is off the top of the dome. This is what I'm saying. This is part of what
we'll
we do.
save the we'll save the vetted producer list for Patreon.
Right.
But this is just off
So,
the top of the dome. This is the freestyle list.
right. So,
Because I'm sure some people are going to be left off.
well, I mean, I didn't do any production teams.
I got you.
You feel me? Like,
Yeah.
I think the only production teams on here would be Neptunes.
I got
So,
you. You know who
RZA,
I really,
Kanye.
really like, man? And he's
Huh?
top 20. Metro Boomin, man. Metro's work and the work that he's put in, I think, is amazing over the past, nearly 10 years now.
What do you think about what's his name that did Rich Boy shit?
Are you talking about Polo the Don?
Yeah, Polo.
I love Polo all the way back from the days of Jim Crow, but I just don't think that, you know.
Okay.
I don't think
I
he
mean,
has the
Metro's
amount of
better. I was
work.
just asking you what you thought.
Yeah, he ain't no Mike Will made it or nothing.
I'm about to say, what do you think of Mike Will?
Yeah.
Mike Will Metro?
Yep. 808 Mafia in the chat. Appreciate that, man. That's a good look too. 808 Mafia is hard. Hit Boy should be in the conversation as well.
See, this is what I'm saying.
Lex
You see, this is why
Luger.
the list is so tough. So look, keep going. No, keep going. This is what I'm saying about how tough it is.
Southside.
Huh?
Southside. Lex Luger.
I got Lex down already.
I'm sure you got DJ Paul and Juicy J.
I do. You know I do. You know I got DJ Paul down.
Trackmasters. I love that.
See?
Yeah.
Keep going. Feel me?
I see
Beats by the
DJ
pound.
Unique a lot.
Huh?
I see DJ Unique a lot. You got No ID.
Ooh, I didn't have DJ Unique. You
What
wanna
about
know
N.O. Joe?
Huh?
N.O. Joe. He did a lot of the Scarface shit. That's your guy.
He did. You know, Joe did do a lot of the Scarface stuff. Okay.
You got DJ Quick. I'm sure you got him there.
Yeah, Quick's on there. It's Quick. You know how I feel about that West Coast shit.
What do you think about Salaam Remy?
Made you look.
He did make you look, but he made a lot of misses with Nas too.
Helped put the score together too, though.
He did help. What? No, I thought he was more blunted on reality. Well, I'm sure he still worked with him.
He did some tracks on the score too, if I'm not mistaken.
And not to mention the Amy Winehouse work. So yeah, Drummer Boy. What do you think?
I'm not sure about Drummer.
Rockweiler.
Not sure about Rock. Eric Sermon.
Of course. I know Ninth Wonder's there, right?
Yep, Ninth's already down.
Of course. Large Professor, I'm sure.
He's already down.
Beats by the Pound. Organized Noise. You say you didn't do production teams, though, right?
No, I started putting beats and organized noise down. That's actually what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
I just put beats down. And put
Larry
organized down.
Smith. I love it. Larry Smith.
Larry Smith.
He's the blueprint, man. He was making the Run DMC stuff.
Okay. I'm about to say it sounds familiar. I just don't know where that's coming from.
Like, we didn't even know what hip-hop records were from a production standpoint before Larry Smith. He made the first palatable hip-hop songs. I'm sure you got No ID there. The Alchemist, Daz, DJ Screw, Daz.
No, I didn't put Daz down yet. You see what I'm saying about how deep it is?
Young Chop. I fuck with Young Chop. Young Chop. I don't like Change the Game. And I like his version better than I like the remixed Kanye version. But I think Young Chop is in a similar situation as Manny Fresh, except for he doesn't have enough. Jazzy Faye.
Maybach Music, Mike.
Are you talking about Justice League?
Yep.
What about Jazzy Faye?
I didn't put Jazzy down.
Michael Huntley says, thoughts on Timbo with what he did for the early Missy, Aaliyah, and Jay-Z records, pop records, and his own albums. Also Madlib, Alchemist, and Havoc. Listen, man, I'll tell y'all before, man, like, Timbaland changed the game for me. I didn't really pay attention who was making the beats until Timbaland came along. Like, his stuff was so distinctive that I had to check for it. I was like, oh, yeah, that's a Timbaland beat.
Always check for the beats, but I will tell you what. When I heard 1 in a Million,
It changed everything.
By Aaliyah, I heard an R&B beat that I was like, hold on. I was like, rapper. I think a rapper should be rapping to that. I don't think a rapper is dope enough to rap to that.
I had never heard
that was the first time I had heard an R&B beat like that. It's like, I don't think there's a rapper that's dope enough to rap to that beat.
I don't think I've ever heard a drum kick like delay like that in a song and sound right.
So think about this. I don't think Pac and Biggie could have delivered on that beat, and that's what I mean. It's like, nah.
Well, I mean, his production style and the way that Missy as a writer was able to make it palatable from a rap level and the R&B stuff that she was writing over his stuff, that just gives, I mean, obviously the whole duo all kind of props, but as a writer, Missy's incredible for what she was able to see in those Timberland beats where most writers would have been like, I can't write to this.
Mike, Beat Nuts, Diamond D.
Beat Nuts, that would be more so Juju.
Juju. Yeah.
I love Juju.
Diamond D.
We got Bomb Squad there, right?
The
Bink.
I don't got Bink. I need to put Bink down.
Rick Rubin.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
See, Mike, we almost like, hold on, I'm going to count it out in a second and let you know. This is what I mean about how it's tougher than the MC list, actually. This is why production matters so much.
What about Swiss? DJ Scratch. Heatmakers.
I'm cool. I'm more cool with Swiss than you are on the production side, actually. I'm the one to be fighting for flesh on my flesh on here, not you.
No, I give Swiss his props. I mean, I just personally don't love his production, but his accomplishments are what they are. Ray Rims with the super chat says, Coop, if you were making an album today, who would you want to EP it? Rock Marciano or Diddy? Beatmaker
Rock.
Versus okay.
Rock.
You going Rock? Q-Tip.
I mean, because we don't know that Diddy has his pulse on anything.
Right.
Q-Tip. We don't know what Diddy has his pulse on. What does he have his pulse on exactly that I should want to do the EP with him?
True. Yeah. Q-Tip is on there. Easy Moby.
Easy Moby is on there.
Okay, great. Let's see. DJ Too Tough. Philly Tough Crew. Behind the demonstrators is dope. Okay. Cool and Dre.
Cool and Dre, yeah.
Evidence.
No.
Just Blaze.
Just is on there.
J. Cole.
No.
Marley Marl. Derringer.
Marley.
Oh, this one hurts me, man, because I agree with this statement. Prince Paul is the most underrated producer out there. He is.
Yes.
Prince Paul is the most.
You know,
Mike, I've said that on this show before. Prince Paul is the most underrated producer in hip-hop.
There we go. This is what I'm saying. So, okay,
and then
so
the Grave Diggers, he produced it.
Let's stop for 1 second. Mm-hmm. Let me tally up how many producers
Flying
we just
Lotus, Ant Banks, Derringer.
Ant Banks. I like Ant Banks.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's making this list. RZA, 1, 2, 3.
Bobcat, Lord Finesse, Havoc, DJ Pooh, DJ Pooh. Diamond D, Mike Will. Irv Gotti.
We're already 46 deep. We already got most of those people you named. We can add Irv. Irv did Can I Live?
He did. Battle Cap.
I don't know about Battle Cat because we're at 47 with Irv. I don't know about Battle Cat or
Battle Cat got joints.
Huh?
Battle Cat got joints.
Okay.
Apollo Brown.
Apollo deserves some love.
Mm-hmm.
He does.
He does. Dame Grease.
I was thinking about Dame when you said Swiss, actually.
KP, yeah, Dame's the guy. I like Dame more than I like Swiss. David Banner.
I'm with Banner.
I'm with that too. Let's see. The Beat Miners, DJ Muggs.
I already got Muggs down. I had Muggs a long time ago.
Good. Shawty Red.
I don't got Shawty.
Shawty Red is the father of trap music. I don't care what anybody says.
I'm with you on that, and I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Shawty Red on the track.
DJ Snake, Mathematics.
Mathematics, huh?
Mathematics.
Take them through master first.
Really?
But probably.
Let's see who else we're missing. You guys are on it in here. What about T-Mix?
No, we're doing top 50. We only got a couple more
Clark
slots.
Kent.
Huh?
Clark Kent. KLC.
Yep, Clark Kent. Oh, Clark Kent and hold on, the other cats. Huh?
KLC?
Hold on, isn't that Beats by the Pound?
Yeah.
I already got Beats by the Pound on here. Hold on, who's the other? Hold on, the Camp Low niggas.
Oh, you talking about See, you made me forget.
ESP.
Yeah, Ski. I'm sitting here. Can I get open? You know it.
Ski.
Ski's about to show it. Yeah. I love Ski, man. He did the first According to Hip Hop interview, and he made my favorite Jay-Z song.
Didn't he do Lucchini?
He did. I love that group too.
That's my favorite rap beat ever, probably.
Really?
I mean, if we're just talking just straight up and down, yeah.
Ski beats.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's the
Ski's
beat.
Awesome.
How about this? That's the beat that I hear that it's a hit no matter who raps on it, and you can still cipher to it. Like, it's the cipher beat. It is.
Oh, what do you think about 45 King, DJ Mustard, and Take Heath?
No.
No Take Heath?
Not over Mustard and 45 King.
I don't know about that. What about Zaytoven?
I'm with Zaytoven.
Some other people got to go.
Huh?
Some other people got to go.
That's why I told you this is tougher. We already we're past 50.
Look, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this list to the Patreon, and we're gonna really make some cuts, and we're gonna bring y'all into the room on the Patreon.
You want to know what we need to do?
And then we're gonna put this out.
You want to know what we're gonna do?
And it's gonna go viral.
We're gonna set up some producer battles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where it's like we're gonna put some guys who are like ranked high up against some guys who aren't as high. Like this, what I'm saying is like
KG.
somebody like
KG.
somebody like Timbaland. Timbaland's gonna go up against Muggs, and we're gonna see who the better producer is, and we're gonna play the shit live.
I'm with that. KG, 88 Keys. Jeez. I like 88 Keys, and KG's made. Listen, I feel like Tretch was an incredible big part of Naughty by Nature, but KG. Super important to Naughty by Nature. Those tracks are super important.
No, that's what I'm saying. KG is slept on. KG taught a lot of other guys too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Rock Wilder, I didn't put Rock Wilder on here.
Tyler the Creator. I like that pick because I've said before, Tyler should be producing for other artists. You remember I said that? I think it was after listening to Igor. I was like, Tyler should be out here producing for people. Maybe. Mike City. He went to the Heard It All Before. That's a great track, though. Ant Learn with the super chat says The Alchemist. Of course.
Yeah, come on. Yeah. All right, I think we got enough to go off of, and we can dig in the crate some more for what we don't got.
Yeah, we can do that, man. I think we're about out of time, too.
What else? I mean, what else do we have left? I think we covered most of everything that we can. I think we came to do what we came to do. No. You want to know what we need to do? No. Because we're having this producer thing. I think it's perfect to kind of end it with that whole what was it? The Kanye guest appearance on the College Dropout. Can we end it that way?
Yeah. Let's end it with that. Jay Short with the super chat says, "Y'all don't want to play quick against these dudes."
No, I mean beat for beat. How about this? As far as West Coast beat makers go, he's probably the best beat maker that ever came out of the West Coast.
Let's go to this last topic and we'll get up out of here, man.
Yeah.
Who had the best feature on the College Dropout?
So I thought about this when you said this to me, and I was thinking, well, this is one of the few albums where it's like, well, you got A players bringing A games, don't you?
And you know what? I think
really
a lot of them
I want to highlight what everybody is doing on this album that's so great.
I want to say this, though. I think a lot of them were auditioning for beats. They were rapping for beats. They're like, yo, I'm going to give him some heat. He going to give me some heat.
That's definitely possible. So I want to tell you what type of performances are on here. We're going to hand out some awards. These are the College Dropout Awards, Mike. I love it. The You Are Who I Thought You Are awards on the mic go out to. We have a tie between Ludacris and Talib Kweli. You guys on this album, you showed up, and what you did on the mic is who I thought you were. And there's nothing wrong with that because both these guys are great. Mike, the Twister performance on this album is the breakout performance. He's actually the breakout verse. The breakout verse is by Twista.
You're right. You know what? I could also say this too. Jamie Foxx, if you want to talk about everybody who's featured, because
We just talking about
it
MCs.
gave a
I
resurgence.
kept it on some
yeah,
rap shit.
yeah. So yeah,
We're handing out awards.
That song
Mike,
actually made 3 careers.
It did. All of theirs.
Yeah.
But Twista's was the one that needed the most help. Because think about it. He had been there before Ye and Jamie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? And back to Kanye as a producer. He fixed that song around what Twista could do.
Yes. And then did it again with Overnight Celebrity, proving like I can do this with anybody. I'm a genius. Right. Overnight Celebrity is one of those beats he can play in verses and win too.
I know what I know, man. Yeah, he's a better producer than Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre would never go in there with Twista and center his stuff around what Twista can do. The only time Dre does that is with Eminem.
Mike, we have some aftermath Patreon smoke for Monday. We have Dr. Dre versus Kanye, and we have whoever wants to debate our thoughts on the Black Slim Shady song by The Game.
Okay.
So whoever wants to pull up and debate us live, that's what the Patreon. We really started the Patreon and didn't do the show on YouTube about the people wanting us to play music and about people wanting to debate us live. So it's like I'm expecting people to pull up now that we got that worked out. Twista has the breakout performance. Mm-hmm. Mike, the comeback performance belongs to Common.
Definitely.
Because it was over. And this was actually the verse that brought him back. The corner didn't bring him back. This brought him back because I can remember. How about this, Mike? I can remember sitting in the studio recording me and Six's project together and playing this verse for him. And I'm like, this nigga's back. And he's like, and I remember Six turning around from the console and being like, the rhymes are back, but the flow's not all the way back yet. But it's coming. And he turned back around and kept working on the beat. So the comeback performance is Common because Six didn't even fuck with Common like that. And he was like, oh, no. He was like, that was some. He was like, I know what I heard. He's like, I don't like the delivery and the drop. He's like, but he's coming back together. The cornerstone I Am Great performance belongs to Jay-Z on this album. This is I Am Great. This is what I do. This is a cornerstone microphone performance by Jay-Z.
I'm the best rapper in the game performance, yeah.
The whole Hove's a living legend, and I'm going to tell you why. People want to be Hove, and Hove's still alive.
Yeah. Hove's a living legend, and I tell you why. Everybody want to be Hove, and Hove's still alive.
And it was true when he said it. When he said it, it was true. That was like I was sitting there like...
Everything he said on there was true. First I had the
everything
streets.
He said on there was true.
Now I have the charts.
That's where the whole starting off strong and you wheezing.
First I had the ear, now I have the heart. Rappers came and went. I've been here from the start. Seen them put it together, watched them take it apart. See the Rovers rolled up with ribbons. I've seen them repoed, resold, and redriven. When I reload, he holds #1 positions. When you're hot, I'm hot. And when your feet cold, mine is sizzling. It's plain to see. Niggas can't fuck with me because I'm going to be that nigga for life. This is not an image.
God-given.
This is God-given. Mixed with hard living. Mixed with crystal sipping. It's the most consistent hoe. Give you the most hits you can fit inside a whole disc in. Nigga, I'm home on these charts. You niggas visiting. Jeez. Yeah, that's the best verse on that.
No. That's that cornerstone performance where it's like, in case you were wondering if I was lyrically great on a lyrically great hip-hop based album, here's a brief reminder. That's what I mean, cornerstone mic performance. But Mike, you were right. The best mic performance. Guest-wise on this album, it belongs to Mos Def on 2 words. And I know I didn't talk about Consequence on Freeway. They're not getting no awards today on this album. But the best mic performance on here, guest appearance-wise. Think about how great you have to be on an album that has Twista, Ludacris, Talib Kweli, Freeway, Common, and Jay on it, and you got the best guest verse. It's 2 words by Mos Def, Mike. It's the best overall guest appearance on the album.
Quoting that Jay-Z verse made me kind of change.
You and me can go back and forth on the bars. 2 words, Mos Def, Kanye West, hot shit.
I mean, that 2 words, United States, no love, no breaks, low brow, high stakes, crack smoke, black folks, Big Mac, fat folks, ecstasy capsules, presidential scandals, everybody move. Now, I just think that the gravity of what he's saying and the theme of the record and the backdrop of that track, because that track is definitely stronger than the track that Jay-Z's on.
The bar
I
work
think
is
for me, the tiebreaker was the fact that Jay-Z recycled those verses from the Hobie Baby remix.
No. It's not that. Moses' verse is just better. The content's better, Mike.
The content
The
is better.
content's better. The bar work is better. The concept is better. Like the bar work is better. The concept is better. And he delivered. And not only did he deliver, think about this. For whatever you think of him and his effortless talents, this is still one of his probably 10 or 15 best verses.
It's epic. And then he runs off with the fists in the air and stuff like.
Think about that. This is one of his 10 or 15 best verses. Now, his 10 or 15 best verses are as good as anybody's 10 or 15 best verses. So what does that say about this verse?
Blue Collar Hustle says Jay Ivy had the best verse on the CD, bar none. I mean, you know, spoken word versus... Obviously, he had the most words. And
he had the most airtime, too, I believe.
He said a lot.
So he had more airtime.
He did.
These niggas got 16 and 24 and 32.
Right. And
they be stealing the bars, Mike. You know, niggas be stealing bars. It's like, I need 16. It's like, I'm going to keep going, give them 24, make them reloop the track, break the shit up, do the math over, put it back again. Mike, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this nigga that came in here and rapped, I got to edit 6 bars, cut the track, loop it back together, cross-fade it so it don't sound like we chopping this shit up.
Yes, Hov was talking this shit. Jay-Z was talking this shit on that song.
No, that's his big boy shit. That's what I mean. That's his big boy. That's what I mean when I say cornerstone verse, not I'm coming verse, not I've come up verse. It's like I'm here, I'm legendary, cornerstone type of verse. It's kind of like when you hear Nas at the beginning and made you look, it's like, well, he's already here. We know who this is. We know who this is. We know what this is. We know what he's doing when he steps to the mic.
Somebody said 2 Words was produced by Evidence. No.
I want some evidence.
Is that true? Because I always say that that's my favorite Kanye produced track.
We just argued about that because I was telling you I like Spaceship and All Falls Down more beat-wise.
Where's the evidence of that? Is that
We're not going anywhere until we pull that up because we need evidence of that.
Yeah, I want to see this real quick and then we're going to get up out of here.
Yeah, we got to go.
Jay-Z does have crazy verses. Let's see. College Dropout. Was it some Ghost production? I said Evidence produced Last Call. Let's see real quick before we get out of here.
No, this 2 Words is Kanye.
Yeah. Mr. West. Yeah. But yeah, that's a great conversation, man. And quoting that Jay-Z verse, the first verse, made me think, like, am I tripping? Does Jay have the best verse on here? I don't know.
No, I can see why you feel that way. See, that's the aura of Hov, though, Mike. That's the aura of, like, Hov, like the guy they call Hov. That's the aura of it. It's like when he drops a legendary verse, it's like, is that the best verse on the album? It's like, no. Let's check the evidence. Let's check the bar work. The bar work is Mos Def.
Who else you know been hot this long?
If I was ranking it, it would go in this order. It would go Mos Def, Jay-Z, Common, Twista, Talib.
I don't know, man. I might put Twista above Common in this one. I think Twista's verse was so
standard. Because Common wasn't rapping like that. Like, he wasn't rapping on no rap shit, Mike. He was doing a lot of happy shit. Mike.
Who else you know been hot this long? Started from nothing, got this strong. Built the rock from a pebble. Pedal rock before I met you. Pedal bikes, got my nephew pedal bikes because they special. I think that first verse is much better.
Spitting through fires of wires, MC's retired. Got your hands up, get them motherfuckers higher.
I don't know, man. I might have to put.
He hadn't sounded like that. Like, he hadn't literally sounded like that since Like Water for Chocolate. It had been a few years.
I think that rap style that he was using on Like Water for Chocolate, he never revisited, unfortunately.
He never.
If we want Common to come back to form, I would like to get Common from Like Water for Chocolate. I don't expect to get...
all of y'all say that, but what y'all have to understand is that he was literally searching for something, trying to get somewhere with that album. And once he got there, he left it because he didn't want to retread it. It was intentional.
Because the way he rapped on 199, that's the Common style I like the most.
Me too.
And the way he rapped on The Sixth Sense, that's the way that's the Common I like the most. You
and me both. The guy that's rapping on The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
The guy that's rapping on The Corner. The guy that's rapping on Doing It.
Well, that style on the corner is different, but yeah, the intensity of
No,
the
see,
corner,
that's what I'm
yes.
saying. It's like Ye got him to slow down. It's like, no, say the same shit. Slow it down.
Yeah.
That's what Get Him High is, because he had slowed it down, but he slowed it down too much on Get Him High. On the corner, you can tell what Ye had been telling him and showing him like had worked. Because I'm gonna tell you exactly what he was telling me. He's like, this nigga Jay and this nigga Big don't use that many words when they be rapping like you do, right? Like they don't use as many words because they find the space between the beat. Because if you look at his flow sicker on the flow sicker, like the space in the words, way he breathing on the track, like Testify, like vocally, he couldn't do Testify on like Water for Chocolate yet. You feel me? He couldn't breathe and step in and out the track like that, fall back on it and jump back in it. Like Water for Chocolate, he's
Tinfoil Kufi, before we get out of here.
Yeah,
Is it possible that the great producer that Kanye West is kind of put a bug in Jay-Z's ear to get him to diss Talib and Common to put some fire under him? Because he's about to go work with them? All right. Well, let's get up out of here, man. We're going to see y'all. And we're going to give y'all all the details to everything in the community section. I'm looking forward to the debates.
Yeah. We'll see y'all on Monday. For those of you who are part of the Patreon, for those of you who are not, we will see y'all on Wednesday.
Let's do it.